OPTUS WAFL live stream is proudly brought to you by Ross's Discount Home Centre, Front Row Screens, your local streaming superheroes, and CD Dodd, scrap metal recyclers.
Dark and gloomy conditions here. The scene of Leederville Oval. 3 rounds of the 2021 OPTUS WAFL season. Home and away, that is, remain before we get into the action. It is cold and wet outside, but the action will be heating up. The East Perth Royals hosting the East Fremantle Sharks. Matt Chechen's in commentary as we welcome you to Leederville Oval. Not much to play for as far as finals, but pride alone for these two teams. And teams that have, of recent weeks, turned their fortunes around. The 2021 ladder sees the host East Perth sitting in 7th and just snapping at the heels of the Sharks, who currently are in 6th. Interestingly enough, both of these teams come in with a 6-win and 10-loss record into this round 20 OPTUS WAFL season decider here. Now, the form guide has East Perth. They've won their last 3 of their last 5, and we'll be looking to extend that today. East Fremantle, after a huge 44-point win over one of the premiership fancies last week. East Fremantle defeating the Subiaco Lions 108-64. So that margin, 44 points. So their last 5 meetings has been interesting as we have a look at the East Fremantle lineup there. And they last met in round 3 back in 2021, and it was the Sharks defeating East Perth. That final score 13-10-88 to East Perth's 9-9-63. That margin of 25 points, and that was at East Fremantle Oval earlier, obviously, in the season. So both teams out on the ground. It is quite chilly out there today. We do expect some rainfall around the Perth metropolitan area. After the first break here on Front Row Screens, we'll run our eye over both teams today, and there's a couple of big outs, notably for the East Fremantle Sharks. Will that influence their form today? Well, we'll yet to find out. We'll go to our first break. We look forward to your company back here at Leederville Oval very shortly.
Shutterguard has been installing Perth's best shutters for over 30 years. With no advertising signs on your front lawn and no sales gimmicks, visit shutterguard.com.au.
Welcome back to Leederville Oval. It is round 20 of the OPTUS WAFL season for 2021. Just 3 rounds remaining until we get into the action of the finals for season 2021. East Perth taking on East Fremantle. Currently on screen, big John O'Marsh. He will feature prominently, you would suggest, this afternoon. Matt Chechen's calling all the action, and my colleague this afternoon, Paul Persick. Very good afternoon to you, Paul.
Good afternoon, Matt. Good afternoon, everybody. And you said in the intro, both teams playing for pride, 6th and 7th on the ladder. But they've been vastly improving in 2021 with East Perth 6 wins, East Fremantle likewise with 6 wins. And, of course, players like Jonathan Marsh, as you see there on your screen, are going to be focal for both sides. Jonathan Marsh, 3 goals in a big win over Subiaco last week. They won't be nothing short on confidence. And just to expand on the form guide, Matty, 6 out of the last 11 matches that East Perth played have won. So their second half has gone along quite nicely indeed. But they would need another win in order to snatch 6th place from the Sharks.
Now, the last 14 games between both of these sides, they haven't been as close as what we probably expect, because the average margin, 37.5 points as far as the Sharks going in their winning margin, and the Royals by 44.5. So as we have a look on screen currently, Angus Schumacher, one of the Rolls Royce in that midfield, particularly for East Perth. He was a fantastic recruit, originally from the Casey Demons, I believe. But look, he's going to play a big part today, isn't he?
He certainly has. He certainly will be today, averaging around 25.5 possessions, 4 marks and 3 tackles so far this season. He's one of those players that can really get the ball into that forward line. He's nothing short of magnificent, is Angus Schumacher. I've seen a few games of him this season, and he is an absolute monster at the centre and can get clearances aplenty. He's going to be apart with Amaduri and also Scotty Jones. But another one for East Fremantle in this time that we're going to have a look at is Matthew Jupp. The role that he's got on the back line today is going to be important. He'll be tasked with Edward Simpson trying to contain his presence in that forward line. Jupp's effort on the Subiaco forwards last week was nothing short of brilliant, so watch out for him today.
I need to make a correction too, because Schumacher is obviously from Carlton, ended up playing one game, but the Bendigo Pioneers. But we'll have a look very shortly at Angus Scott, the number 27. He was originally from the Casey Demons, and that man on screen at the moment, he's 4th in the competition, Paul, for disposals. He's 10th in the competition for marks, and he loves playing against the Sharks. He had 27 disposals in that round 3 loss, and he will feature prominently this afternoon, you would suggest. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, Scott is one of those players that can feature when your team needs it. He's one of those players that can get your side up whenever they're down, and he's had himself a good run so far this season as Angus Scott. And just looking, you know, at his numbers for this season, and his average is nothing short of brilliant. 28.2 touches he's averaging, and also in the tackling and marking is very high. It's around 5 marks this season, so he's a good marking player. He could also play a little bit down back as well when opposition can get those entries inside 50. So I'm going to be really keeping both eyes on him today.
All right, so the players just going through their final motions out there, getting warm, ready for this Optus Round 20 WAFL game. Nick Robertson also back on screen. He's battled injuries throughout the year, as has Schumacher, as we have a look right into the bullseyes, the middle of the ground.
Yeah, Scott and Matty Jupp, the respective captains, about to toss the coin. There's a good breeze blowing here at Leederville Oval. They forecast around 22 degrees today, overcast, and a light rain expected.
Big out today for the Sharks, Cameron Erdley. Didn't play last week. He was named, but is a late withdrawal this afternoon, and he's a real ball magnet that's going to be missed in that midfield of the Sharks today.
He certainly will be. Matty, in the meantime, Angus Scott has won the toss and will kick to the TAFE end of Leederville Oval on the left-hand side of your screen. But Cameron Erdley, big out, was named, as you said, this week in an extended Shark squad to take on the Royals today, but a late out for him. That would mean, of course, the likes of Jared Jansen, Thomas Bennett, and even Michael Tassoni will have to form a good midfield core to really get those entries inside 50. So these first 10 minutes are going to be very important.
Yeah, and I'm keen to have a look at Jared Jansen. He was last season's fairest and best for the Sharks, and he leads East Fremantle in inside 50s. He's also kicked 4 goals as well, so I'm sure he wants to make an impact on the scoreboard this afternoon. And Paul, the 2 best in the business as far as the ruck department go head-to-head today. Luke Stranatica of the Sharks leads the competition in hit-outs, and literally straight behind him is Scott Jones, both former Fremantle-listed players. Jones kicking 3 goals in their previous meeting back in round 3. He had 8 more hit-outs. But Stranatica offers a lot around the ground, doesn't he? He gets a lot more disposals than Jones, and they're pretty similar in size as well, just over 200 centimetres each and around the 105 to 110 kilogram bracket. So they're literally going to go head-to-head today.
Yeah, like a bunch of Sherman tanks, Jones and Stranatica. Stranatica, I do agree, he offers a lot more around the football. Jones, you know, often keeps himself occupied in the ruck, looking for his rovers like Amaduri and Angus Schumacher to do most of the heavy lifting. So that's why Jones, I reckon, needs to do a lot more around the football this afternoon if he's to contain the influence of Stranatica this afternoon.
And both have kicked 10 goals as well when they're resting forward. In fact, they're both 10 goals too, so they're almost mirror images of each other, not only in stature, but also in across their stat line as well. So teams getting ready. East Fremantle more keen to get out to commence this game. The forward line's going to be interesting today, because we know that East Perth have got some weapons. You've got Simpson, he's kicked 25 goals. Magro with 21, he offers great forward half pressure as well. Young comes back into the side. He's kicked 14 goals. But the Royals have had 9 players with 7+ goals. You have a look at the Sharks. They've only got 6 players with 7+ goals. And a big out for them is going to be Bachman, who's their second leading goalkeeper. He kicked 15 goals. Marsh, obviously the spearhead, has 27. But that's a pretty frail forward line for the Sharks.
Yeah, it is, and that's why they're going to have Marsh not only relied upon, they're going to have to get Lester Smith and O'Reilly to fire as well. Just before we get to the opening bounce, quickly, Matty, your tip, who's your winner?
I think the Royals, just with Erdley not playing today, they're going to miss that little bit of a spark around the ball.
Even with that, I'm still going the other way. I'd like to see the Sharks ride that wave of confidence after that Subiaco win. Here we go. Round 20. It's on to you, Matt Chechen's first quarter underway here at Leederville Oval.
And the Sharks hold the edge at 186 to 153 wins all time, but at East Perth, 15-7 here at Leederville Oval. So they'll get the first clearance, high up and under, to a dangerous spot on the ground. The Sharks happy and content to let that one bounce. They look to bring it out of defence. Interesting kick. They're going to turn it over. Running into pressure there was the number 21 in Kerr. One of the best marks in the competition, and the Royals turn it over. The kick down to a contest. The umpire has seen something untoward, and the first free kick of the afternoon will be handed over to the team of East Fremantle. Hugh Dixon, he has been in good form in saying that kick 3 straight last week. Is that in the back? We will wait on the umpire's decision. No prior opportunity. East Perth, from the halfway point of this season, Paul, have upped their tackling numbers. A clear deficit in their game coming in, but they're going to need to win the ball at the coalface this afternoon.
They're certainly going to have to, and hit their targets too, as the mark taken by Stranatica. On the attacking side of centre, Wilcox overruns it. It's inside 50. The hand pass comes out. Wilcox picks it up. Boakhurst buys the hand pass. The Sharks have got numbers at the back of the football. Boakhurst was one of them. Watch out, he's about to get caught by Wilcox and pinged for holding the ball. Wilcox will take the free kick on right half back. Good season he's having as well. He's going to go for the short pass and find Nathan Blee. On Ballajura Jr. 153rd game of league football this afternoon.
Effectively played all his football, both juniors and seniors, in black and blue.
Absolutely. So it's black and blue through and through for Nathan Blee. Spoil comes to Goringe.
Paul, just while we have this stoppage, East Perth, they're notorious slow starters. On average, they lose the first quarter by 11 points, and it's something that cost them back in that round 3 loss. They kicked 1 goal 6 against the Sharks to 2 goals 2, so 7 scoring shots to 4. Effectively, they kicked themselves out of the game, and the Sharks ran away with that one.
And they'll have to make the most of their chances this afternoon, East Perth, if they're to get a win on the board. Jones from behind gets the tap out. Lester Smith couldn't pick it up. It comes out to Robertson. Right foot kick towards the attacking side of centre, and there was an infraction. Holding on. Free kick. It's going to go the way of the Sharks, and they're going to get a move on very quickly. Free kick will be taken by Lachlan Bailey. Towards right centre wing. Getting a fist on it was Eaton, but there was holding on, and again, East Fremantle will get the rub of the green through O'Reilly. O'Reilly pumps it long towards right half forward, 2 on 2, but out the back of the pack. The mark taken by that man, Fulgrave, who we mentioned off the air was going to be a key in full back up against Marsh. And East Perth will clear out of the defensive 50, but it's going to go over the line for a throw-in. It beats Amajuri to the line. Still no score on the board. East Perth and East Fremantle clashing in round 20 of the WAFL. That's on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard on this grey and wet Saturday afternoon.
Well, Amajuri's one to keep an eye on, 5th in the competition in tackles. Jones won it down, but only bounced it in front of Stranatica, who gets immediately set upon. So another chance for both teams to reset from the stoppage. Jones does well. Won it down with the left hand, but it'll be the Sharks who re-enter 50. Well spoiled in that contest. Running out of room on the outer side. Well done from Wilcox, but he's just carried the line, so that's out of bounds on the full. And really liking the early pressure across half forward from the Sharks. They managed to bottle in and force a couple of errant kicks from the Royals, so they look to reload again. Kicks in towards the pocket, brought down at ground level. Marsh, can he get around? He can. Onto the left boot. Might have been touched. Sando, good head. He's been a pretty consistent performer. Has to kick to a 2-on-1 towards the outer side. Oh, brilliantly done. They keep it alive. So this is Lynch. Can propel them further forward, but no one's inside 50. So they have to go long and high, tracking the football back and allowing it to bounce. There's that East Perth forward line pressure from guess who? Amaduri, just mentioned him before. And he bundles his opponent in Jamie Mead over the line, and they will take that in the end. But East Perth on the rebound there just had nothing forward of the footy.
Amaduri, you mentioned him, averaging around 5 tackles per game. He's a tackling machine.
There he is, right on cue. So a bit of a shallow throw in this one. Jones read it best. Hand pass was intercepted. Going in, trying to win that contested footy was Masando. They get it out the side. Snapped into a dangerous position. Well spoiled. The crumbs gathered there by Hill. Fed it off to a teammate, and they look to kick it towards the hot spot. Great mark. Falling down, he was under heavy duress from Jupp. But that is a fantastic mark. Ed Simpson. Strong body, 2 strong bodies going at it. And as he fell to the turf, and we have another look thanks to CD Dodd replay, or maybe next time. But Paul, I mean, that was just strength personified, wasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was.
Yeah.
You know, Simpson in that one-on-one, he's very strong in those contests, and against another big body like Matthew Jupp, he's often got to get himself into the front position, and that's what he did. And this will be a well-deserved first goal if he can kick it. And
he is generally gun barrel straight with his set shots. He's kicked 25 goals, 8 on the season, as he comes in and with that style of staring down at his boot. Any youngsters at home, have a good look at that, because that did not look like missing. First blood against the run of play. It's fair to say Paul Persick and the Royals take the lead for the first time.
Yeah, you could be right. That's a good point that you make, because East Fremantle got the forward pressure going in the early minutes, and then all of a sudden East Perth propelled themselves forward into their attacking 50, and Simpson's goal is just reward for their hard work. That'll be an early stinger for East Fremantle.
199 centimetres too, and Jupp giving up 8 centimetres and about 7 kilos, was just bodied out of that, but it's still a clever mark as he was falling to the ground and managed to hug the ball to his chest. That's a real key forwards goal, that one.
The Royals on the start that they're after. 1 goal straight to no score. On the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard, the umpire just waiting for all the players to get into position. The Jones and Stranatica continue this battle. Jones gets the tap out, and again Schumacher, much like Michael, zooms past the bullseyes. He kicks towards full forward. It's bouncing towards the goal square, but it's punched over the line by Garinge, and it is a behind to the Sharks.
I'll tell you what, Paul, that was reminiscent of that burst that he had out at Laflane Oval, where he kicked probably the goal of the season, of all of 70 metres, and that time electing to go for the drop punt. And I thought it could be a little bit of deja vu, but not this time.
1-1 to 0-1 in favour of the Royals as the mark is taken by O'Reilly. He goes inboard, finds Boakhurst. He's wanting 50, but he's not going to get it. Fakes the hand pass. Back into the corridor, finding O'Reilly. He's going to send it back to the hot spot. And there, lone target. No mark taken there. That was Dixon. The pressure right on East Perth at the moment, but releasing the pressure is Sparks. And Harley Sparks on the left back pocket takes a good mark, looking to set up the Royals again. Sparks with a high kick. It's going to go to left half back. Stranatica in front, got pushed out of that one. Good solid tackle being applied on Stranatica, on Shane Hill, and the umpire will say, give it to me.
Good early signs, Paul, for the Sharks as far as Dylan O'Reilly getting his hands on the footy, but he's just made some questionable decisions by going long and high as well, putting a lot of air under that kick, so not really lowering the eyes and looking for targets.
Marsh kicks towards the left forward zone, and a fine mark taken by Dixon.
And that's case in point right there. You have a look at John O'Marsh. He pulls more or less a 5-iron out of the bag, whereas Dylan O'Reilly's been going with the pitching wedge and just getting too much air, and you've got big key defenders and from East Perth that can judge that drop of the football. And you see what John O'Marsh does. He just puts it lower trajectory and then allows his key forwards to get on the end.
So Hugh Dixon in his 30th league game for the Sharks response. From 35 metres out, low trajectory kick, and he's put it through. Hugh Dixon gets his first of the afternoon, and the Sharks are on the board. 7 plays 6 at the 9-minute mark on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard. Again, East Fremantle responding after that big entry from East Perth early on. Hugh Dixon rewarding the Sharks with their hard forward pressure in the early minutes. And that's what they're after, 1-1 to 1 straight.
And that's the delivery that he wants, and that's what allowed the Sharks to cause that boil over last week. As we have a look at his technique, thanks to CD Dodd replay, nice low ball drop and into the breeze as well, and makes no mistake, because the breeze now really blown strongly across the ground towards the Loftus Recreation Centre there. So not allowing the kick to be blown back across the face of goal. So good technique. He had 9 marks against Subiaco last week and was key in that win there. So better signs at the moment. So we've got goal for goal. Convincingly was Jones. Comes out the back of the pack. A couple of stick tackles fail to stick. Bennett propels the Sharks forward. Back up towards Dixon. He won't be able to take the mark this time. Good forward half pressure now from the Sharks. Schumacher in on hands and knees. Now it's either in the back or holding the ball, or we'll have the third option of a ball up. So Schumacher, as he's done throughout the year, as I said, played 1 game for the Carlton Blues. Actually grew up barracking for Carlton. Wilcox, that was good poise. He drives it down towards Jones. Second bite, couldn't reel in the mark. So the Crummers gather. In goes Amajuri. Is that going to be prior disposal? No, said the umpire. Good strong tackle by Ryan Lester-Smith, not allowing Amajuri to gain any more metres.
Quick update in the other game over at David Gray's Arena. West Coast 2-1, Peel 1-2.
Thanks for keeping us abreast of all things there. Sando, they work it through sets of hands and they have to kick under pressure, and that'll go out of bounds on the full. It was dropped as he kicked it. It was Schumacher. He looks to be okay. Bendigo Pioneers, that part of the world's produced some tremendous footballers over the years. Nathan Brown, one of them. A kick up to a contest at left half forward. Oh, sliding in, taking a very good mark for the Sharks. Montalban, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Now, there's a whistle, and the umpire's saying play on. So Magro, normally at the other end of the ground where he does his best work, he's had to go hunting for the football. They kick wide. Good spoil on the football by Bailey. Shepherding work now allows Tassoni to clear. Schumacher, contested ball for him. They swing it back. Wilcox, spearing ball. They keep it in this time and onto the chest. So better signs now for the Royals. They kick into the man on the mark. They play the 1-2. Just the chaos ball now. Looking up towards Robertson. Did he impede? Not this time. Bursting onto the footing. They've got options. He's just going to go for goal.
Maguire.
It was. Well, Maguire, he had a teammate screaming for the football in the goal square and just backed himself. Paul, but have a look at the turn of foot, Maguire, and he put some daylight. Have a look at this. Robertson, good body work, and have a look at this. It's like a video game where you hit the accelerate button. And he was about to be closed down by Max Murphy. Had a teammate screaming for the footy in the goal square and just backed himself, and why not?
Yeah, you got to in this early stage in the game when the opposition's putting the pressure on, but that was a great solo effort from Maguire. Just turned on the accelerator towards a goal despite a teammate of his screaming for it, but you got to take the risk in the early goings, and that's what Maguire did. And now East Perth got a nice strong lead early on.
He kicked 3 goals straight last week against Swan Districts, originally from the Mount Lawley Inglewood Junior Footy Club. I believe they're the Roos down there towards Hamer Park. So back in the middle, let's see if East Fremantle can answer.
They need to, and they need to quickly. It's an up and under kick out of the centre square. 1-on-1, no mark to Sparks. Picked up by Baskerville. Hand pass over the top. It's in the direction of Jansen. Out to Stranatica. Well stood up in the tackle. Fired the hand pass. And now the Sharks are away through Bennett. Dribbles the kick towards the forward 50. Bounce favouring Mazzando. Hand pass comes out to Lynch. Now Sparks. High kick. Back to the right-hand side of the bullseye. Simpson leaping high, no mark. Jansen. Releasing a teammate in Burton. Burton again towards the forward 50, and again Eaton first to it for the Royals. Lynch over the top. Mazzando. Beautiful hand pass by Mazzando. Gets it back and fires it off to Eaton. And now the Royals through Blee. Can get themselves out of a trough. Young. Fine mark in the 1-on-1. Young's got options pushing forward. One of them is Magro. He's going to swing onto the left foot, Magro. It's a mongrel kick. Mark dropped. And now East Perth can get a move on. The snap comes in from the boundary line. Is it going to bounce through? It will for a behind. Snap coming in from Merritt. So the Royals, they've got themselves a healthy 8-point lead at the moment. 14.5 minutes into this first quarter on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard. We're glad you can join us for this round 20 clash on this Saturday afternoon. 3 games this week in round 20. As the Sharks clear out of the defensive 50, Stranatica takes the mark. Players calling for it. One of them there is Murphy. He's going to play on Stranatica under a bit of pressure. Goes across the ground and finds Burton. Burton goes back inboard. Montalban fires the hand pass. Connor gets boot to ball. Down the line towards left half forward. And it looks to have been out of bounds on the full. Yes, it is. And the Royals will get things moving again. North from Boyup Brook in his 29th game. Probing kick towards the corridor. Maguire, who kicked that last goal. Swings it onto the left foot now. Huge pack of players. Schumacher over the top, almost reeling it in with the one hand. Now he gets it back. Breaks through one tackle. Finds an opening with the left foot. He snaps towards goal, and it is out of bounds. And it'll be a boundary throw-in. About 15 metres out from the Royals' goal. They are desperate for a third.
Shout out to David Edmondson, says come on Sharks, and Jordan Chambers, go the mighty Royals. Thanks for joining us wherever you are around WA.
Great support for both sides.
Yeah, it is. So the shallow ball comes in. And it looks as though we'll have a secondary ball up. Officials being very good this afternoon. The arm wrestle continues. 2-2-14 to 1 straight 6. But East Perth's inaccuracy back in round 3 costing them the win. Young tries to bust through the tackle, was dispossessed. Schumacher, don't know how many times we've seen him getting scraped back up off the turf, Paul.
Yeah, he's been exciting, Schumacher, in the second half of the season. He got himself into some great form again.
I would suggest him and Jones might poll quite well. Maguire looking for his second goal. Will have to be content with a minor score this time. Reluctantly handballs it back. So 2 goals 3 now. That margin is the biggest of the afternoon. They chip it in. And they look to bring it out quickly. Using the outer side of the ground. This is Burton. Touches it to the turf in these slippery and greasy conditions. His disposal by foot is very clean. Look to bring it across their goal face. They're looking to bite it off towards the corridor, and that can be dangerous. They've turned it over. Good heat there from Jansen. But East Perth managed to maintain possession. Eaton ran into trouble, but fired off the effective hand pass, so they tow it further forward. And bundled over the line is Amajuri. He was trying to set up the attack, and let's hope that he's okay. Grabbing at his leg at the moment. And the umpire's just called for the blood rule, so I think it's Stanley Wright will be making his way off the ground, just coming off to the interchange gates at the moment, and there you can see it, just above, or just next to the right eye, as Jones had a brief spell on the bench, has to come back on. He might actually play the roving role here, can't nominate for the ruck, in fact he has. So good umpiring, allowing him to get back. Just a quick update in the AFL, Richmond and Hawthorn playing out a draw. So in different seasons, Alistair Clarkson can't get a win in his final game. Amajuri, can he keep this ball alive at half forward? Well done. His hand pass is going to be chopped off. Kicked hurriedly up towards the wing. Awkward spinning ball was gathered brilliantly from Snadden in the end. So East Perth look to link up by hand. And the kick will be intercepted. Reading that best was Eaton, and a chance now for the Royals.
They swing it across the ground now. They find Scott. Beautiful sidestep. And a long probing kick, finding Kerr. Releasing Robertson. Kicks long towards full forward. Pack of players will fly. Maguire was out the back. The other there was Merritt. Merritt takes the mark. Oh, he shouldn't have played on. He applies the strong tackle, but there's a high one. High tackle against Merritt. You have to say, that is one that has cost East Perth their third goal. And as the sun breaks clear, free kick will be taken by the Sharks as soon as they get that ball back. And the Sharks will regroup from the right back pocket through Lachlan Bailey. Going to be sizing up the options. In bright sunshine, he drives it towards right half back. Flying over the top was a Sharks player, but Wilcox gets first to it. And trying to avoid the tackle, he goes over the line for a throw-in, and a bit of heated exchanges between himself and Nick Comer. 6
disposals for Wilcox, but Masando and Schumacher leading all comers, Paul. 7 disposals through almost 20 minutes of this opening term.
It's going to be Jones up against his opponent there. Both miss it. Hand pass is fired out. Amajuri overruns it. Holding on. Free kick. Advantage is paid. Kick by Holmes. Towards centre half forward. Leaping high. Great mark taken there by Dixon. Dixon with the left foot. Nice short pass to the path of Bennett. And Bennett will have a shot for the Sharks' second goal.
Paul, something that East Perth are going to have to arrest at the moment is the free kick count, because they've given away 5 free kicks. They've only earned the 1. So a bit of ill discipline, particularly in the middle of the ground, can undo all of that hard work getting the ball across to half forward, and also repelling repeat forward 50 entries at the moment. So the Royals need to clean up their act.
Bennett from just inside the 50 for the Sharks' second. Starts right, it's bending back, but too far. And it's to the left-hand side for a behind. 2-3-15, playing 1-1-7. The Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard deep into this first quarter. We're glad you can join us live on Front Row Screen Sport. Your number 1 in 2021. Paul Persick and Matt Chechen's with you as East Perth clear it out of the defensive 50. It's a long kick. Out in front there was a player. Couldn't take the mark. The hand pass comes out. The Sharks are back in that defensive 50. It's going to go over the top. And it's into the path there of Montalban. He couldn't take the mark. Fine tackle being applied. The pressure well and truly on. The hand pass is fired out. But the Royals, however, can clear themselves out again. Here's Kerr. Out of defensive 50. Trying to keep it in was Edwards Baldwin. But it's over the line for a throw-in.
Paul, I'll take that any day of the week. And we really need to applaud the efforts there of Masando. He's got 8 disposals leading all comers. But that tackle probably should have been rewarded with an incorrect disposal free kick, but he is really standing up in the early stages of this contest.
Jones working it to the front. Gets the tap. Amajuri on the run. Trying to fire the hand pass out. He breaks free from the tackle. Long hand pass. Hill. Onto Scott. Sparks. That one slews off the side of the boot, but he got bumped off it. And there's going to be a free kick down the field. 2 Royals colliding at that one. Sparks was one of them, and he was down along with Angus Scott. But both players are down, and it'll be a 50-metre penalty.
And that's ill discipline, particularly for an experienced player that's played upper level, obviously with the Saints and the Magpies. But John O'Marsh, supposed to be leading by example, gives away a couple of cheap ones, to be honest, into the midriff with the players. And then Robertson came in to remonstrate, and that's poor leadership from John O'Marsh.
Yeah, you don't expect that from a player like Jonathan Marsh. He's very disciplined, and he's a very cool, collected customer. But this is going to cost East Fremantle a goal if Magro kicks this. From 40 metres out. And he sways it to the left-hand side for a minor score. So a lucky break for the Sharks, but the Royals still lead it early. 2-4-16 to 1-1-7. The margin 9 points here at Leederville Oval.
Thanks to Ross's Discount Home Centre, wonderful supporters. Matt Chechen's and Paul Persick. Thanks to Front Row Screens as the Sharks look to rebound from defensive 50 to a vacant wing. So it's going to be a bit of a foot race. You'd suggest the boundary line will win that contest. And happy to seek the sanctuary of the line is Angus Scott, originally from the Casey Demons. What a great addition he has been. Stranatica and Jones resume formalities. It's the former that won it down with 2 hands. And as we've seen throughout the afternoon, it's been pretty tight in the clinch, particularly from boundary throw-ins this afternoon. Robertson. Jones won it down. Scott has to go the wrong way. Ended up into Lynch's hands. Off to Schumacher. Kicks under pressure. And that is ill-directed in the end. East Fremantle with the intercepting mark to Sony, and just looks to peel off the 45-degree kick. I haven't seen much of the handball happy game from East Perth at the moment. They're happy to chip and mark through the early stages. Up towards a one-on-one on the outer side, and halved as the ball gets put over the boundary line, and a chance for both teams to regather.
That was
Bryn Teakle.
Yeah, Bryn Teakle. He was a late substitute because of Cameron Erdley's late out. So it's a big blow, as you mentioned at the beginning of the game, but a good opportunity for Teakle at league level.
Comes from a very good breeding ground of footballers in Northampton. I know Paul Hazelby, Josh Kennedy, and even the Crick boys hail from up there. So here's East Fremantle. That's more of an East Perth style, is handballing through the middle, but allows the forward 50 entry, and there he is, Masando. He is best on ground through this first term, brings it wide to Wilcox, usually a very good user of the football. So he chips further afield to Robertson. Just steps around the man on the mark now, can go to a one-on-one. Simpson out on the lead, sliding. Couldn't take the mark this time, does well. Applies a bit of body pressure, bottles the ball up and forces the stoppage with Magro. And his compatriot in Edwards Baldwin on the scene, and a chance for both teams to reset. The Sharks have been pretty good at holding across half-back so far.
And so the Royals, they've been able to hold their own as well, despite the barrage of entries inside 50. Kerr gets the kick away, and now the Sharks. They've got themselves out a defensive 50. Treacle in front, couldn't take the mark. Good support applied by Comer. Snaps with the right foot, it's close to the line. And is it going to go over? Yes, it will. Mazzando trying to chase after it, but to no avail. But deliberate. Wow, that is a stiff one, I'd have to say. But Jacob Mazzando, who I'd agree, Matty, is one of the best players on the ground in this first quarter. He'll set East Perth up. They go across the ground, and now they're on. Scott. He goes for a run.
That's his 10th touch, Paul.
And he's been nothing short of terrific. And now they're on the move again. The kick comes to Lynch. Just needs the sit. Gets it. Oh, couldn't evade the tackle, but got the hand pass out to Hill. Is he going to go back in board? No, decides to switch up the play down the line. Kick partially smothered, cleverly by Jump. And now the Sharks can get themselves moving again. Jump once again. The hand pass comes out. Out towards Tassoni. Kicks across the ground, one-on-one. Fine mark taken by number 13 in Kyle Baskerville, former Winnicott Junior. And they need to get a move on here. Baskerville kicks down the line. Huge pack of players. Mazzando is out the back. Treacle couldn't take the mark. It comes out to Eaton. Fires it off to Mazzando. Beautiful kick by Mazzando. It comes to Kerr. Kerr's going to go out wide, sizing up the options, but that is a disappointing kick. Baskerville with a fine mark. Baskerville just along the bullseyes. He's going to go back in board and find Stranatica. He's been exchanging in the ruck and in the midfield throughout this first quarter. He kicks towards right half forward. Well played in the end there by the Royals youngster in Taylor North. His 29th game. Tries to go for the centering kick. It's a shocker. Stranatica hacks it off the ground. They contest inside the 50. Mazzando in front. Roved well by Schumacher. Fires it over the top. Finding Jones. Long kick towards left half forward. Simpson in front. It's players collide. The siren goes. And a very competitive first quarter from both sides. But it is East Perth that have a narrow lead. 2-4 to 1-1 at the end of the first quarter, Matt Chechens. But East Perth, they're just the better disciplined side at the moment, if we can put it frankly.
Yeah, a couple of needless free kicks. Didn't start out that way, but then there was a bit of nastiness in the middle of the ground involving John O'Marsh, and didn't go punished in the end as Magro missed one from basically dead in front. But both teams out on their feet at the moment because it's been a pretty physical game so far. And that man in Angus Scott, he has been superb, racking up possessions. But for me, Massando across half-back full has been brilliant.
Yeah, I'd have to say Mazzando's been terrific as well. Rowan Kerr's getting plenty of the ball with 10. And for the Sharks, Thomas Bennett with 8 as well. Kyle Baskerville, he started to get involved late in that quarter. He got 6 as well. But the work of Dixon and Maguire up forward early should really give an indication that this forward line for both sides are going to have to fire and get a big score on the board. It may not reflect well in the early quarters, but it's a very physical and competitive encounter at the moment.
So 6 scoring shots to the left of your screen. Will it be the scoring end? We'll find out on the other side of this break. The second quarter just around the corner. This is Optus round 20 WAFL action. Thanks to Front Row Screens. We'll be right back.
Shutterguard has been installing Perth's best shutters for over 30 years. With no advertising signs on your front lawn and no sales gimmicks, visit shutterguard.com.au.
Live pictures coming from the East Perth huddle. They have their necks in front at quarter time, round 20. Optus WAFL season. Just 3 rounds remaining before the final start for season 2021. And East Perth 2 goals 4-16 to East Fremantle 1-1-7. An interesting number, Paul Persick, is the inside 50s because the Sharks lead that category 13-8. But as you can see on the screen, have had considerably less scoring shots.
Well, Bill Monahan will be disappointed at that. They controlled the inside 50s right from the get-go in that opening quarter as we go to the CD highlights, but they just weren't able to capitalise on them. More often than not, apart from this kick you see here,
Yep.
Marsh onto Dixon, they weren't able to really get that score on the board from those inside 50s. They had 5 more in that quarter, as he said. But East Perth, the way they were able to withstand the pressure that East Fremantle got around the football was nothing short of commendable. The Royals deserve to have this lead, but it's still early going. East Fremantle have proven that they can hang with these teams just outside the 5 and within the 5.
And have a look at this goal thanks to CD Dodd. This is Maguire. Now, what you can't see from that shot is his teammate standing unguarded effectively on the goal line, but he backed himself there and taking another nice grab there. And Robertson started to get active a bit later in that term. Simpson, I thought, was good. He's kicked 1 goal as well. So Maguire and then Hugh Dixon. So only 3 goals so far. It is cold and windy down there. The windsock is flying at full capacity across the ground. So you would suggest that any shots towards the right of screen will need to be started out towards that right-hand goalpost and then to the left-hand goalpost at the left of screen. But really, they've had some good sights at goals, particularly East Perth, but they just haven't made it pay.
Yeah, they just need to convert more on the scoreboard because really they should be like 3 or 4 goals in front, but they're only 9 points ahead. So it's going to make the second quarter very important for both teams to get that first goal on the board.
Paul, plenty of ball winners for the Royals because you've got Kerr, Masando, who I thought was brilliant. I'm sure you agree, and Scott.
Absolutely.
10 disposals each, and so they tie for the game high as far as disposals. Bennett quietly just accumulating 8 disposals for East Fremantle. But you would suggest that they would want to get the first major of this second term. 6 scoring shots to the left of screen to just 2 to the right. So we'll see if that has any impact on this. It was interesting to read during the week the fact that Jeremy Barnard potentially, the last 3 rounds playing for his contract effectively, or playing on results because they haven't renewed his contract. They're going to do that at the end of the season. But good early signs for East Perth.
Well, I think they should renew his contract, given his form in the second half of the season. 6 out of the last 11 that East Perth have won. So it should be a sign that Jeremy Barnard is for East Perth's future.
They've had some decimating injuries as well. I mean, I know Robertson's missed a lot of football, as has Schumacher as well. So they've had a few bodies out throughout the season. Mitch Dobson's out again today. He's kicked 11 goals, and there's just some fantastic players that unfortunately haven't been able to string games together. And let's not forget that they made that they were pushing obviously last year as well.
Yeah, for a final spot.
Yeah,
they missed out.
Well, they actually finished above Subiaco last year, albeit in a shortened season. So that will be one to watch because it's almost appearing like musical chairs at the moment. We know that Cam Shepherd stepped aside down there at the David Grays Arena down there in the Peel region. So still a lot to play for. As we said, both of these teams mathematically cannot make the finals. However, they have showed glimpses of brilliance.
There you can see that windsock, Matty Chechens, and it is also starting to rain.
Yeah.
We're expecting rain this afternoon, and it could be coming down in torrents. So just looking at the city skyline, it is almost blanketed with rain. So it could be coming down during the second quarter and could make for a very interesting game especially in this second quarter where scoring is going to become a great challenge.
And if you even have a look at the goalposts to our right, to the right of screen, you can actually see them swaying quite violently as the second term gets underway. Paul Persick.
The tap being won by Jones. It comes out to Schumacher. Gets the hand pass out. The Royals have got it clear from the centre square, but the East Fremantle Sharks have got numbers round the football. Stranatica in particular gets the snap round the corner. On the second bite, no mark to Montalban. Ball goes to ground. Team tackle applied by the Royals, and the umpire says, give it to me.
You can almost hear the wind chimes there through the headset.
Yeah. No, I don't have wind chimes on me, I'll say that. It's thrown up. Again, Schumacher, first to the footy. Hand pass over the top, but the Sharks have numbers out the back. Lester Smith swings onto the right foot. Towards a contest, Mazzando couldn't get clean possession, and the Sharks again on the move. The kick is a disappointing one and finds Blee.
Paul, just heading towards quarter time at David Gray's Arena. A little surprising for mine. West Coast 5-2-32, leading Peel Thunder 1-5-11. So a handy margin approaching quarter time there for the Eagles reserves.
They've started well. It could be an omen for the Eagles when they play Brisbane. In fact, they are at the moment. We'll keep you updated on that as Robinson. Long trajectory kick down the line towards left centre wing. Players flying. Scott out to Maguire. Swings onto the left foot towards left half forward. And a fine one-hander reeled in by Stanley Wright. Yeah. He's changed number at quarter time.
We've had a wardrobe change, much like Clark Kent stepping into the phone booth. But I tell you what, our producer, the man that can do it all, literally, he can cook, clean, he can do it all, produce. Filled us in on that wardrobe change there, and not bad for a man that's sitting in front of the truck right now.
Right with the left foot. It's not going to make the distance. It'll land atop the goal square. And a fine mark at fullback taken by Stranatica.
Well, if you have a look at that, Paul, the breeze has noticeably picked up now and the rain is becoming heavier.
Yep, the skyline almost completely blanketed in a sheet of rain. It's down towards right half back. Treacle over the top. Gets the hand pass away. Robinson first to it. Caught in a strong tackle by O'Reilly. What's the umpire going to say? He says, give it to me. In fact, this season, both sides only averaging just 10 goals and 43 inside 50, so they're not firing a lot on the scoreboard as Jones fires it out from the ruck, almost kicking in danger there. Baskerville gets the kick away, and he'll get the mark. Not 15, umpire calls play on. Hand pass comes out, and the Sharks again try and clear it out. Up and under kick, curve line, couldn't take the mark. Gets second chance at it. The kick towards half forward, and taking the mark there was Jupp.
That was well read in the end because they're not easy to mark, particularly when the ball's like a bar of soap. So Jupp, he started this game brightly, transfers play laterally towards the outer side of the ground. Max Murphy looks for a teammate, could have been held. The umpire says play on. Schumacher gains ground with a hand pass, running out of tarmac there was right, but they managed to get it inside 50, and that'll be a free kick. So originally thought it was going to go to Simpson. Instead, Nick Merritt was the man that was impeded, and a chance for him to line up. Now he's kicked 9 goals, 6. This will take his best effort because the ball's noticeably heavier now. It'll be greasy ball to drop, and he'll be kicking right into the teeth of this breeze here at Leederville Oval.
He's going to have to fire it up massively. He's going to have to give it a big kick as if he's kicking from 70.
So originally from Pinjarra. He loads up. He'll have the distance. Does he have the accuracy? It was compromised as that ball hooks across the face of goal. And another minor score now on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard. 2-5-17 to 1-1-7. That margin, a game high 10 points.
East Fremantle will get a move on quickly. The kick towards Jump. Hand pass out to Lester Smith. Jansen caught in the tackle but got the hand pass away. Back to Jump. Kicks to a 2-on-1. Wilcox in front, but a fine mark taken out the back by North. North from right centre wing. Goes short. Releasing Wilcox. Wilcox fires out the kick towards right.
It's just a lovely kick of the footy.
Right takes a good mark. That's centre half forward. And the vision by Wilcox, nothing short of magnificent as we go to the replay.
Well, he plays a lot of that quarterback roll across half back, but then he shows how damaging he can be coming forward, because that was really the only spot that that ball needed to get to allow Wright a chance to slide in that number 32 jumper now. And another chance and another opportunity to shot, but again, it's going to be so tough from 40-plus metres this afternoon, you would suggest.
7 scoring shots so far for East Perth. Right from just inside the 50 to the left-hand side for a behind. It's now 2-6-18 to 1-1-7 on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard. Paul Persick and Matt Chedgins with you on this Saturday afternoon. Absolutely pouring down at the city, and it's going to make its way to Leederville very soon.
And a man that will relish these conditions will be Angus Schumacher. He's up to 12 disposals, Paul.
East Fremantle moving it on again. The kick towards English. Couldn't take the mark. Fires it off to Treacle. They go over the top, outside defensive 50. English gets it back. Evades the tackle brilliantly. The short pass comes into O'Reilly. Couldn't hang on to that one. Schumacher tries to spin through the tackle. Couldn't get it off. Robertson down low, as is English. Clearing kick only as far as Fulgrave. Fulgrave inboard kick to Mazzardo, who was outstanding in that first quarter. Swings onto the left foot in the right direction. 1-on-1 is in front of Murphy. Neither man taking clean possession. Jump gets it to Murphy. And a lovely kick by Murphy, finding a teammate in Corey Holmes on right centre wing.
So a chance for them to go forward. A rare sight in this term as they centre it towards Bokhorst. Now he's got options running past. Elects to use that. That's Marsh. He goes with a bomb. That's come down with ice on it. That's gone very high. Big fly from O'Reilly. Is that going to be paid? You bet it is.
Magnificent mark by O'Reilly.
O'Reilly, well, his old man, was a superb fullback. Obviously at Geelong, Carlton for a little bit, and the Dockers. Have a look at that. Actually worked with his mum Sharon, and she'll be ecstatic with that one. His younger brother Finn O'Reilly is a very good footballer, making his way up through the ranks. Did spend time on the Dockers list. Unfortunately couldn't crack a game at AFL level, but he had big raps on him at underage level, and a chance to cap off what is a superb mark in these conditions. And the goal umpire does not have to budge. Dylan O'Reilly gets his first of the afternoon, and just like that, some errant kicking from the Royals opens the door, and the Sharks now, Paul, just trail by 5 points thanks to Ross's Discount Home Centre.
As we see on the CD.replay, it was a fine kick by Dylan O'Reilly. Nice technique, nice and smooth, and celebrated the moment it left the boot with a nice subtle fist bump.
For a young man, also has had some injury concerns as well. Was a gun junior cricketer too, I believe, so very talented family.
Well, speaking of cricketers, you've got your pre-season coming up soon, don't you?
Yeah, managed to throw the back out and chasing my two-year-old around, but should be fine. Saw a good chiropractor actually just down the road. The Dragiceviches.
Very good stuff, man.
Back up and running. So here's Jones, out appointed by Stranatica this time, but does well at ground level. Amajiri just steps through traffic. Interesting looking ball as it's slewed off the side of his boot. Murphy, oh, that was a great collect. Even better hand pass. So they link up now the outer side. This is Bokhorst running out of tarmac. They do well now. They kick up towards Dixon. He got shoved in the back. The umpire didn't think so. So that's a bit of a chaos ball now at ground level. Now that was superb. Nathan Blee stepping through the oncoming traffic and spinning his way out and finding the man of the moment in Masando.
Great first half he's playing so far. You ought to be impressed by him. 2-6 playing 2-1 as Mazzando kicks down the line towards left centre wing. Flying high there, looking for the mark, was Jones, but
you'd say that he's edging the ruck duel at the moment?
Yeah, I'd have to say Jones has just got the edge narrowly, but Stranatica, he's playing a little bit more up the ground, well, so I'd have to say Jones is getting right up there.
15-3 in the hit-outs in favour of the big man of the Royals. This box is starting to fog up, Paul.
Yeah, well, it's because of the conditions that we got here at the moment, but the ball in great sight of the players. Young, inboard towards centre half forward, and that's a clever kick, finding Wright. Wright has got a few targets roaming free. One of them at right half forward is Edwards Baldwin, and he takes a fine mark. Is he going to back himself here? Looks like he's going to. And this will be for the Royals' third goal if he can get it at the 10-minute mark. And he'll have to kick from outside 50.
11-7 on the season, Paul, so just a tad over 50%. This will take his best effort.
This could really sting the Sharks. Edwards Baldwin swings it onto the right foot. It's a shocker. Robinson was in front. He taps it forward to Young atop the goal square. He gets bundled out in a good tackle, but it's high. Free kick will go Young's way.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was watching a little bit of WWE Raw during the week, Paul, and that was as good a clothesline as I've seen all week from Stranatica.
Yeah, I reckon JBL would be proud of that. Young, around the corner, puts it through. And East Perth make the Sharks pay for that mistake. Young gets his first of the game and the Royals first of the quarter. And at the 10-minute mark, 3-6-24 plays 2-1-13. The Royals opening up a nice 11-point lead.
And in these conditions, I just think East Perth match up better, particularly in their forward lines, because they're very top-heavy as far as you have a look at the East Fremantle forward line. There's some tall timber down there, but not many crumbing forwards, where if you've got Young, you've got Hill, you've got Magro. So these conditions are going to favour the Crummers today because the big men will be flying. But when they do stick him up, they're also going to be a threat as well. But that's his 15th goal of the season, Matthew Young. And he kicked 1 goal 3 in that round 3 loss. So he'll be very pleased that he's managed to actually sneak one through.
And on the subject of the forward line, I think East Perth have just got a few more smalls that have got speed and flair in that forward line compared to what East Fremantle have got. They're very top heavy, and I'd have to say East Fremantle, they're just struggling a little bit to find those multiple avenues to goal in this first half, despite only trailing by 11 points.
And we did mention that. I mean, I know Dixon and O'Reilly are good marking targets, but you wouldn't suggest that these conditions are going to be conducive for taking clean marks. So the Sharks look to build, taking the chest mark there and wheeling away was English. Haven't seen much of him this afternoon. Not his best effort there, and a chance for the Royals to mop up. Interesting ball up towards Amajuri. You know that he'll stick his head over the footy. Was dispossessed on this occasion. So the Sharks have their kick partially smothered. Well done, Amajuri again. They link up by hand. This has been a feature of their play. And that hand pass will be chopped off in the end. Clever underneath hand pass now, and the Sharks. Kari enters 50. That's a shocking bounce there into the hands of Dixon. Well tackled. Masando was spun 720 in the tackle. Not rewarded. As the hand pass comes back out towards Dixon, and he runs out of tarmac. So again, great play from Masando, standing up on the last line of defence. Originally from Bustleton, the Magpies. 26th game of league footy today. Again, a shallow Skewith throw-in favours Stranatica. The Sharks, they've just been blazing away with these kicks inside 50, and Robertson has given away the free kick. Will the advantage be paid to O'Reilly? It won't.
So these undisciplined free kicks that have undone.
Yeah.
Free kicks, these undisciplined free kicks have been the undoing of both sides in patches.
So Lester Smith, reluctantly, he was heading towards an open goal, has to hand it back. So Robertson, not intentionally giving away that free kick, but it would suggest that this is going to be against the flow of play. We'll have to start this one well outside the left-hand upright.
Montalban and only his 15th league game.
Yep. He's kicked 4 goals, 7. Can he kick his 5th? High ball. It's going across the face of goal. In fact, didn't register a score, but it has come off a set of knuckles and through for a minor score, and that is East Fremantle's first score of the term.
Yes, and only a behind. They go to 2-2-14. They trail by 10 points as Wilcox, who too has had a good first half thus far, is going to send it back into play. Roving kick towards centre half back from behind. Schumacher reels it in. But it's a chop of the arms.
Tell you what, Paul, how often do you just see fullbacks now going straight down the middle through the guts? It's very rare that you see it these days.
You don't see it often in modern football as basketball fires it towards the half-forward line. And a great mark taken there by Comer. Nick Comer, Scarborough Jr. in his 62nd game is going to go for East Fremantle's second goal. O'Reilly kicked one earlier in the 7th minute.
Paul, this will be just his 3rd disposal, so a quiet game for the ex-Essendon Bomber player.
He'll kick from 30 metres out. It's an up and under kick. It's not going to make the distance. Spoiled away there by Fulgrave. And again, a minor score, 2-3-15 to 3-6-24. This Saturday afternoon, we're glad you can join us here on Front Row Screen Sport, your number 1 in 2021, as Wilcox will have the task of sending it back into play. Simpson is on left half back. So is a few East Perth players. He's under pressure, Wilcox. He's going to go inboard. And the Royals will look to reassess through the skill of Sparks. Hand pass comes in. They link up with Wilcox. Remember, in round 10, against South Fremantle. Wilcox took that amazing mark on the forward pocket and saved East Perth from a last-second defeat. Always massive in that defensive 50. As they kick towards Maguire, and it was just touched inside the line by inches.
It was an interesting setup behind the ball there from that kick in from the Royals, because they had the front half pressure from one player and making Wilcox retreat back towards his own goal line. But then it was like the players had all dropped back almost towards the bullseyes, expecting a long clearing kick, and East Perth just navigated through that far too easily.
Lynch one-on-one with Dixon, with a Garinge rather, and the umpire will throw it back in. 9 scoring shots to 5 in this first half. Hasn't been a pretty game in some areas, but the Royals have got themselves a nice advantage. It's 9 points, 3-6 to 2-3 at the 15.5-minute mark. It's about being won by the Sharks. The ball comes out to English. Quick kick towards left half forward. Hand pass over the top. Lester Smith, was he caught without it? Umpire says play on. Kerr hacks it forward into open space on the centre square. Jupp. Great collect by Jupp on his own. On the back line. The kick goes back inboard. No mark taken. Merritt going down. Team tackle. They're wanting holding the ball, and it's paid by the non-officiating umpire. The free kick in favour of the Sharks. In fact, it's the Royals, rather. And will go the way of Wright. Chips towards left half forward and finds Kerr. Is Kerr going to back himself here? I reckon he will, especially with this stiff breeze blowing. In fact, he's going to go inboard and find Magro on his own.
Second in the competition for marks, Rowan Kerr, former Carlton player, and he had 32 disposals and 10 marks last week against Swan Districts, and just shows what a savvy veteran move that was by just lowering the eyes and allowing Magro, who's not the greatest of set shots, but he's so busy, such a live wire.
Magro from 45 metres out with the left foot, straight through the middle. He knew that was through. Magro gets his first. And the Royals are starting to pull away now. 4-6-30, playing 2-3-15 at the 17-minute mark of the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard.
Kicked 2 goals in that loss back in round 3, and he moves to 22 goals 19. So I think that's the reverse Mozzie, the reverse Mocker there, saying that he's generally not a poor set shot for goal, and that did not look like missing, and he gives it the double cobra as well.
I love the double cobra celebration, especially when it's full of tattoos. Fabulous stuff.
So 4-6-30 to 2-3-15. That's a game-high lead for the Royals. And you would suggest that the Sharks would not want to let that balloon out past 20 points, you would suggest, in these conditions, as we've gone 17 3/4 minutes in this second term. Round 20, Optus Waffle action, thanks to Front Row Screens.
West Coast leading 9-7 to 2-8 over Peel Thunder, so it's ballooned to 37 points.
Thanks again, obviously, to Ross's Discount Home Centre, delivering high-quality home improvement and building supplies at great prices. I might need to hit them up. I'm doing some renos at the moment. They're in Laugh Lane, as I won't be watching any finals there this year, unfortunately, Paul, but that's a different discussion, as Amaduri is not going anywhere. We'll have to hand that back to the umpire, and goes to show you how competitive Boakhorst is. Wouldn't even allow him to do that. Stranatica wins it down, only as far as right. They feed it out the side of the pack. Now they can kick under pressure through Scott. Almost up to 15 disposals now. And great tackle. It's almost rugby league-like, isn't it? Sliding into the corner. But East Perth will take the stoppage there. Chance for some of their heavy artillery to gather around this one. Magro's on the scene. Jones v Stranatica. That's a skew if boundary throwing that favours Jones. Now he thumps it towards his own goal. Stranatica goes in. Jones has to go back. They're playing the arm wrestle there. Hand pass partially smothered, but Magro did well. They look to centre the ball, and somehow Scott, who's had plenty of the football, was left unattended on the arc of 50. So Magro's running around the side. He wants it. He's kicked the last goal. Can we have back-to-back goals from him? Not on this occasion. Is that mark going to be paid? It is. And maybe a 50 to go with that. Now pleading is Stranatica. He's saying, how can you pay that mark? And Nick Merritt stayed down. The tall timber flew, and he gathered. So on the second bite was paid the mark. and a very good opportunity for him to possibly run around as the young players of today seem to do. Nick Merritt from Pinjarra Junior Footy Club to hit 10 goals on the season has missed. So he went with the drop punt and that flayed out, and a poor miss from him and the Sharks fans here. And there's a few people piling into the ground. We'll breathe a collective sigh of relief for that miss.
The Sharks now send it back into play. Here's Jupp on the left back pocket. Gonna go down the line. Short pass. Finds English. Again, they're just going to play the chip game at this moment. Snadden. He hasn't seen a lot of the football. In fact, it's out of bounds on the full. Free kick will go the way of Wright. Going to pop it to the left pocket. Simpson, great mark. Edward Simpson, he's starting to catch fire in this game. He kicked one in the early minutes. As we go to the CD dot replay, that kick was well weighted enough by Wright for Simpson to leap up high and take the mark virtually uncontested in the 2-on-1.
Probably the worst thing for the Sharks was the fact that Wright had to come off the ground with that blood rule because he's had the Caleb Sarong treatment, that bit of tape put around the eyebrows, and he's come out firing in this second turn.
So Simpson, this will be for his second. Around the corner, and he's missed. So even if you're not on a tight angle, you don't really have to go around the corner. I've seen players in the AFL like Dusty and Stevie J do that from directly in front. That's something that you just don't like to see be done.
Well, there's reasons that those players make millions of dollars a year, Paul.
Yep. To kick those goals, but sometimes you've got to go conventional.
Marsh has been a little quiet in this second term, would you agree, Paul?
Yeah, I have to say, he hasn't seen a lot of the football, and usually he's up forward, kicking big bags of goals, but he's been way off at the moment. As Jump fires East Fremantle out of the defensive 50. They need a goal, but not if they're going to get pinged for holding the ball. The tackle being applied by Wright. He has really come out firing in this second quarter. He's got Magro at centre-half forward virtually on his own, but he's going to ignore that. The kick in towards the left forward pocket and finds Young.
Push.
No, push.
Yeah. Well, he's got no arguments because he literally put two hands in the middle of his back. So, and Marsh has stayed down too. Let's hope he's okay.
Comma down the line, high mark and a high lead. No mark, in fact, yes. A great mark taken there by O'Reilly. Two high-flying marks.
He's got a set of mitts on him.
They go inboard now, finding Tassoni. And now they're on the Sharks. They get it moving quickly. They go inboard towards Mead.
Brilliant.
Beautiful low trajectory kick. Mead has got a target at left half forward. Lester Smith is going to send it towards the forward zone. And a beautiful mark taken there by Jansen.
That is hands down the best passage of play we've seen from the Sharks this afternoon, because they bite off that kick through the corridor, and it was a frozen right, perfectly weighted, and then again honouring the lead. So rather than bombing it in and hoping for the Tools to take a mark, Jansen gets on the end of it.
From 45 metres out, shoots towards goal, and that is a lovely kick by Jansen. Desperately needed for the Sharks. Their second of the quarter. And at the 23-minute mark of this second quarter, East Perth leading by 11 points, 4-8 to 3-3 on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard. This was a desperately needed goal, Matty. Take us through this one.
Yeah, look, they're hanging tough at the moment, and that's just the perfect technique. High follow through, low ball drop, and he aimed that one dead at the left-hand goal stick, and the breeze just managed to just hold its line, and it drifted safely inside that left-hand upright. So where East Perth struggled to the right of screen, Jansen makes it look easy to the left of screen there. So you're going to suggest that shots on the broadcast side where our cameras are today are going to be easy to kick, because you can allow that breeze to almost suck the ball across the goal face, whereas from the outer side of the ground, Paul, kicking into a teeth of a very strong breeze that has been relentless throughout the afternoon. And so is this man, Schumacher, heading up towards his 15th disposal. Scott's had 17, leads all comers. That's a great smother, risking life and limb and earning the free kick. And that's what happens when you put your body and your own safety at line. That was Jupp, so he earns the free kick. Moves it laterally. So they look to try and pick their way out of this at the moment. East Perth flooding numbers. Young tries to get his hands to that, can't make the spoil. So well done from Mead. Now that is a very risky kick, but it pays off. Now that could be 50 on Hill. No, the umpire giving him a second opportunity.
Very lucky.
So here it is. This is where they moved the ball through last time. Wilcox comes across to try and provide pressure, not only once but twice. Forces the stoppage where there was 4 Sharks circling. And they're ready to bust through and break the lines there through the middle of the ground, and Wilcox was there and was not having a bar of it. Jones towards Scott. Busting his way through there was Bennett. Dumped in the tackle. Also there is Scott. Looking for his 18th disposal. He's been very, very busy.
So is Wilcox on the defensive end. The tackles he has laid thus far, really solid effort from him.
So Mead up to 13 possessions, leading the way for the Sharks. And that's good, strong work there at the bottom of the pack from Edwards Baldwin. I like his work rate all around the ground. And go forward as well. Good size to him too. 185 centimetres and just under 80 kilograms. So a very versatile utility type player. Here come the Sharks. They look to tow it back in. And they kick back-to-back goals for the first time this afternoon. Wilcox lucky not to give away the free kick. That's almost a rugby maul right there, Paul.
Certainly is, especially in rugby union where you get so many players cramming onto the ruck.
So East Perth, they're under a bit of pressure now on the back line. Jones to Wilcox. Kicks almost blindly, and I don't think that's a valid attempt to keep the ball in, and the umpire agrees. So they turn it over. Boakhurst will have it. Now he's got a tall option down the line. That's going to be ignored.
Stranatica's also at the top of the goal square.
And that's where the kick goes against Jones. Jones did well, brought it down at ground level. East Perth just looking to try and mop up, running out of room, and it's one of those ones where they almost try and fumble the ball over the line as Wilcox hands it back to the boundary umpire. 11 points to the margin thanks to Ross's Discount Home Centre, delivering high-quality home improvement and building supplies at great prices.
Boundary throw-in about 20 metres out from the Royals' goal. Jones palms it down. He comes towards his teammate, but he's got tackled by English. It'll be a throw-in. And they'll reset again. Jones working it to the front, gets the tap out to Hill. And now the Royals can get clear through Fulgrave. Fulgrave's kick into the path of Murphy, but he's taken over the line by Hill. We'll have a throw-in.
It was a little bit more subtle than the last one from Wilcox that resulted in the free kick, but I think they both had the same intentions. That one was just disguised far better.
Jones and Stranatica will continue their battle in the ruck. Jones from behind, palms it down. Edwards Baldwin under pressure now, kept his body down. Ball comes out. Baskerville overruns it. There's the siren. East Perth have got the wave of momentum their way. 4-8-32 to 3-3-21 at half-time in this Optus WAFL Round 20 clash here at Leederville Oval. Matt, again, it was sort of the same thing that happened in the first quarter where the forward pressure was put on a lot more by East Perth this time in the second quarter. They were able to respond with 2 goals, but East Perth have still got that healthy cushion in their favour.
Well, interestingly enough, East Perth managed to close that considerable gap of inside 50s, but look, East Perth, as they did in that round 3 loss, they just butchered attempts at goal. They've had plenty of set shots, but in fairness to their goal kickers this afternoon, tough conditions, and a lot of their set shots have been from beyond 45 metres, haven't they, Paul, really? And that shows on the scoreboard, but 12 scoring shots to 6. And East Fremantle have had 3 more inside 50 attempts at half-time. That man was influential in that second term in Stanley Wright. He had to be patched up in the closing stages of the first term, and he really was that live wire and provided a great link from the midfield to full forward across the half-forward line, so he'll be proud of his efforts. And that man just on his right shoulder in Wilcox, he has been brilliant on all areas of the ground. He covers a lot of territory, but he uses the football really well.
On the centre of that screen in that last shot, they're the 3 best players, I reckon. Wright, Mazzando and Wilcox for the Royals. They're the top 3. As for the Sharks, well, you've got to have a look at a couple of players like Lester Smith. He's providing some targets. Murphy in the back line, he did a really good job. But also, I'd have to say Stranatica, who's done a lot more around the football, and the defensive guys as well. Snap and Comma had a few good touches late in that first half.
And we'll have a look at some of those exact numbers on the other side of this break. It is half-time here at a wet, soggy and windy Leederville Oval. Optus Round 20 action will return here on Front Row Screens. Don't go anywhere.
Shutterguard has been installing Perth's best shutters for over 30 years. With no advertising signs on your front lawn and no sales gimmicks, visit shutterguard.com.au.
Some of our little leaguers out at Leederville Oval at the moment. That's some nice work from the number 2 there. Have a look at this little link-up play, and that's something that we've seen in our league game. Round 20, OPTUS WAFL season for 2021. Matt Chechens and Paul Persick bringing you all the action, and it hasn't been pretty, has it? But East Perth managed to extend, despite having a lot more of the football, a lot more possession, extend a 9-point lead that they enjoyed at quarter time to 11 points. But we need to credit East Fremantle the latter stages when they get clean ball use. They lower the eyes inside 50. Jansen with a nice finish for them, and they show what they can offer. And O'Reilly's providing, despite the conditions, to be a great overhead mark. They're still in the game.
And it's how they manufacture these chances when they get the ball forward, especially when they've got, the likes of Erdley out. That's obviously a big blow. But the way players like Jansen, Bennett, Chisoni and Bailey are working hard to get that ball forward, nothing short of a testament to the East Fremantle side, who have been able to keep with East Perth throughout the game. And this has been another step in the improvement of the Sharks this season. They've beaten a couple of top 5 teams this season in Swans and Subiaco. But what they have done against this East Perth side, who have also been on the up, is that they've applied a lot more forward pressure in patches in that first half, especially since when they've got Lester Smith and Marsh in that forward line, who have been held quite well by the East Perth defence, with North, Fulgrave and Mazzando working very hard at the face of the footy.
So let's have a look at some of the numbers as we look at some of these highlights. Thanks again to CD Dodd, wonderful supporters of local footy. And thanks obviously to Front Row Screens. Nick Robertson's been a little quiet as far as disposals, but he always provides such a great physical presence around the ground. Well, Angus Scott, he had 10 disposals at quarter time, had 7 more in that second term, Paul. He leads the possession winners, the ball winners so far through half time. He has 17, and Kerr with 16 touches as well. And Bokhorst is really providing a lone hand at the moment. 14 disposals and 5 marks for the Sharks. Now, Jansen, a polished finish from him. Usually a good ball winner, good ball user. Hasn't had much of the footy today, but he's applied 4 tackles. So he's providing something extra, maybe in a defensive role this afternoon.
And that's what the East Perth defence have done. They've provided a lot more second efforts at the football, where East Fremantle, either they've given away a few 50-metre penalties or undisciplined free kicks, or in a couple of those passages when East Perth got the quick transition going, they just left East Perth forwards roaming on their own inside forward 50 with no chance of the contest.
As we continue to enjoy some of these highlights, just looking at the marks at the moment, 41 marks to the Royals and 44 to the Sharks. So pretty good going considering the ball's like a bar of soap at the moment. If we have a look at a matchup that we highlighted pre-game was the ruck duel. Luke Stranatica taking on Scott Jones, 2 former Fremantle Docker listed players. Now Stranatica, 7 disposals, just the 8 hitouts and 4 marks. And it's fair to say that Jones is winning that battle because he's had 21 hitouts, just the 5 disposals, but yet to take a mark. So we know what Stranatica can offer around the ground. It's going to be tough in these conditions, but Jones is doing a fantastic job of giving the Royals midfield first use of that footy.
Yeah, Jones, I'd have to say, is edging that battle at the moment. Midway through the second quarter, I was saying Stranatica, but the way Jones is able to do do a lot more around the football compared to Stranatica in what we said pre-game, is giving East Perth that big chance to propel themselves into that forward line. Jones definitely winning that battle for me.
So just having a look at some live updates, just the 3 fixtures in round 20 for the round 20 Optus WAFL season, and West Perth and South Fremantle, arguably the game of the round. They'll take place tomorrow at Provident Financial Oval, and a gettable game for West Perth.
It's a winnable one because the way they've been able to go about it in the second half of the season really states that they should be in that double chance. South Fremantle, however, they too are threatening for the double chance. But I reckon West Perth can do it at home. But either side that wins will definitely take a big run heading into September.
So the margin here at Leederville Oval, it is half-time, 4-8-32 to 3-3-21. So that 11-point margin for the Royals. And down at David Gray's Arena, it is half-time, and the home side are struggling. 2 goals, 9-21, trailing the West Coast Eagles reserves outfit 9-5-59. So that margin, 38 points. Not good signs there for Peel Thunder. Well, as some of our youngsters are enjoying the wintry conditions down here, well, in round 17 here at Leederville Oval, Subiaco took on West Perth, and we sent our super slow-mo camera boundary side. Let's take a look at some of the fantastic vision of the players in full action, thanks to Front Row Screens.
Every time I need a rescue, hanging on the verge of breakdown. Even though I try to replace you, but loneliness makes me break down. Every time I need a rescue, hanging on the verge of breakdown. Waiting for a touch, you say no day. Every time I need a rescue, hanging on the verge of breakdown. Even though I try to replace you, but loneliness makes me break down. Every time I need a rescue, hanging on the verge of breakdown. Waiting for a touch, you say no day.
The super slow-mo camera, brilliant work from Front Row Screens. They are the best in the business. And
Awfully good.
I might need to report you to the police too for vandalism, because you just tore the dance floor up.
Oh, turn it up, mate. Give me a
Paul
spell.
Persick with that backing track there, and that is really some fantastic work from our team at Front Row Screens, and obviously not just leading the way as far as local football coverage, but also the ice hockey. We've got motor racing, you name it.
The
It's
lot,
there.
man.
Yep.
It is an incredible portfolio, and the slow-mo camera work is a testament to the FRS team, what they have done to promote local sport here in WA and local events too, and the best LED screens here in the West.
Oh, there you go. Always want to fire up a bit of FIFA or 2K or even the new F1 game.
Whoa.
Call on one of those bad boy screens. We'll have to have a chat to Matt maybe after the game. Well, it's half-time here at Leederville Oval. The players still being addressed by their respective coaches down in the changing rooms. We'll take a quick breather here. East Perth by 11 points, but the Sharks smell blood and they're still circling. We'll be right back very shortly.
Shutterguard has been installing Perth's best shutters for over 30 years. With no advertising signs on your front lawn and no sales gimmicks, visit shutterguard.com.au.
Welcome back to Leederville Oval, and Matt Chechens and Paul Persick bringing you all the action for round 20, OPTUS WAFL season for 2021. Our coverage today has the Royals in front by 11 points. Nothing to play for but pride, but you wouldn't think so with the way that these two teams have attacked each other this afternoon. It's the Royals by 11 points, and that CD Dodd scrap metal recyclers ad has got to be the loudest and the best advert on TV.
Rock and TV commercials, they just blend perfectly.
Still not the loudest thing that I've had to endure for the last 2 weeks or so since my newborn has arrived on the scene.
And by the way, on that, massive congratulations to you and the family with the birth of Mackenzie Chechens, and I hope everything's going to turn out very well, as it will be indeed.
Well, cast your mind back to Laugh Lane a few weeks ago, and we actually had live pictures of my son Toby strutting his stuff out at Laugh Lane at the moment. So he's been working on his handball skills at the moment, and we'll see how we go. Much like these youngsters here, they're enjoying their time out on the ground. Some interesting breaking news in the WAFL throughout the week involving East Fremantle.
Yeah, East Fremantle, as we see the windsock there, it's getting a bit calmer here at Leederville Oval. The Sharks are likely poised to play their home games for the next season or two at the WACA ground when Shark Park is getting redeveloped, and this is going to be massive for the ground. Obviously, they're going through their own redevelopment as well, which is going to be completed in stages. Many saw via the state government's announcement that the development has officially begun. They turned over the first sod this week, and it's going to start a brand new chapter for the iconic ground, over 130 years of operation. It's great to have football back there. Believe it or not, 2000, the last game at the WACA, Fremantle and Richmond won. And East Fremantle, who are playing today, were involved in the last WAFL game at the WACA, which was the qualifying final of 1994, defeating West Perth quite soundly.
Oh, there you go. Must be tough for you to say that too, being an ardent Falcons man. No pun intended here, but I probably might be able to dig a bit of dirt about that story, because Terry Waldron, Tuck Waldron, who's head honcho there at the WACA, his wonderful wife, Nolene, is actually a colleague of mine at school. So she's our wonderful art teacher. So I might need to dig up a bit of dirt. Might come back to you on that one next week to see if the Sharks, because obviously the deal isn't signed off just yet, but there'd have to be a little bit more work to be done as well, I believe, because of some sand that sort of, basically the amount of sand that was dumped on the ground in some of the previous work. But that would be massive for East Fremantle. I mean, I know locals might have to travel a bit further up Canning Highway, then onto the Causeway, but I'm sure that would be a trip worthwhile, and potential maybe to to have some games under the lights there at the WACA.
Absolutely. You know, the WACA's character in football was night games back in the late 80s and early 90s until 2000. And again, with a revitalised look at the ground, with new facilities, you know, a new community hub, new WACA museum, and realigning of the ground, it's going to be available for not only football, but all other sports as well. And with East Fremantle potentially playing there for the next 1 or 2 seasons at the ground, it's going to really make for some great games of footy next year.
I know it's a different sport, but I was fortunate enough to play on the WACA. It was a boyhood dream. I'm an avid cricket lover and cricket player, Paul, and I was fortunate enough to play in a T20 game there a couple of years ago, and not being too sprightly in age, might have been around my 40th year, but we managed to get a chance to play in a grand final on the ground. I bowled from the Prindable stand end, and I was that pumped up. I came in, first ball, and it hit almost third slip in a T20 game. It was called a wide, so the big build-up for nothing.
But one man who we built up a lot and hasn't delivered quite well in the first half, Jonathan Marsh. He's held goalless this afternoon thus far. I think he really needs to lift his intensity in the forward line and get in front of those one-on-one contests, because Marsh, he's a great key forward, make no mistake about it. He's averaged 2 goals and 17 touches on average this season, but they're not getting the ball down to him.
But in the first term, he was... he had a great impact on the contest. He had a lot of balls delivered. I mean, he set up young Dixon for the first goal of the afternoon, just a beautiful spearing ball inside 50. After they just sort of blazed away a bit, and I know I sung his praises earlier, but Dylan O'Reilly had a few chances after taking marks to send them inside 50 and was just really bombing the ball in and trying to get his forwards on the end of it that way, whereas I think Marsh used a bit more experience. He lowered his eyes on that, and then he had a bit of a... I guess you could say it's a brain snap, Paul, where he gave away a couple of... he gave away a cheap free kick in the middle of the ground and ended up dropping 2 Royals players. Resulted in only a minor score because Magro couldn't make him pay for that at the other end. But then since that incident, he's really sort of not really impacted the game as much. But I mean, he's a class player. He's probably the best player in that Sharks lineup, and I don't imagine he'll be quiet for too much longer in this one.
But needs a big lift. He needs to kick at least a couple of goals to get back into this one. And in that East Perth huddle, the 2 players on the right-hand side of the screen, Wright and Jones, 2 of the best for the Royals so far. They've gotten plenty of the football. There you see Jones. He has got the edge in the ruck contest against Stranatica in his 63rd game. The way he's been able to offer himself at the football to much more opportunities compared to Stranatica is a really good sign for the East Perth side in that first half. If they can keep on going and get a couple of goals in the first 10-15 minutes, then it'll truly see the intent of the East Perth side after what was a very scrappy first half with only 4 goals 8 to 3 goals 3. The Royals should have punished them a little more on the scoreboard, especially with how many forward entries they were able to gather when the ball was going forward.
You know, the scary thing and what should be setting off the alarm bells for the Royals is the fact that the Sharks had a huge third quarter last week, as you know, Paul, against Subiaco. They held the Lions scoreless in that third term, kicked 7 goals, 1, and ran over the top of one of the premiership contenders. So they're in pretty good form when it comes to third terms, the Sharks, and I'm sure this man who really stood up in that second term after coming off the ground with the blood rule. You can see the tape across the ears, much like a second rower in rugby union. He's ready to go. And that being, obviously, the former number 7, Stanley Wright. He's wearing 32 now. As the third term gets underway, we're with Paul Persick.
Sun is out as well here at Leederville Oval after a second quarter with intermittent rain. The ball's not going anywhere further. Umpire will toss it back up. Jones, big punch away to the path of Hill. Gets the hand pass out. His teammate tripped up. And now the Sharks with numbers around the football. Clearing kick towards the front edge of the centre square, and a fine mark taken by Sparks. And the Royals look to propel themselves up forward. Sparks kicks across the ground. Lynch in front. Well spoilt there by Jansen. It's going to go over the line for a throw-in. Fans as well getting back into the stands for the start of this third quarter.
Speaking of, we'll shout out to Chris McShane, says go Royals. A few others that are tuning in as well. Paul Udding, a very good afternoon. And Greg Byrne says come on Royals. So plenty of East Perth diehards tuning in this afternoon through front row screens.
Shout out to all that are tuning in at the moment. We certainly hope you're enjoying the coverage as always. Jansen gets the hand pass out to Marsh, who's playing down back. And it's a beautiful kick though. Finds Dylan O'Reilly, who's one of those solid marking players this afternoon, and he has been throughout his short career so far, despite being riddled with injuries. Up towards half forward. Fulgrave underneath that one, got the hand pass out, cut off by English. Loops it over the top, intercepted. Eaton fires off the hand pass. It comes to Blee. On to Fulgrave. Up and under kick towards left centre wing. 1-on-1 and well spoiled. They're looking for out on the full and the Sharks will get it. And the free kick's going to go the way of Lachlan Bailey, the former junior from Atterdale. And in his 35th game of league football and is going to send the Sharks across the ground now, finding Michael Tassoni.
The Atterdale Bombers.
Tassoni down the ground. 2-on-1 in favour of the Sharks. Spoiled by Fulgrave into open space, but instantly covered. Lynch couldn't get the hand pass out. They're wanting holding the ball. They're not going to get it. The kick inside forward 50. 1-on-1. Blee. Was he held on to? Yes. The free kick will go the way of Trinkle. Trinkle being held on to by Nathan Blee, and this will be the chance for a good start for the Sharks in this second half. Teagle. So Teagle, who was a late emergency, and then Cameron Eardley, he withdrew. Laid out for him. That brings Teagle into the league squad for this afternoon.
Northampton boys, we said earlier.
35 metres out, straight through the middle. That's the start that the Sharks were after. First goal of the second half belongs to East Fremantle. Teagle has kicked it, and at the 3-minute mark, it is now a 5-point lead to the Royals. As we see on the CD Dot replay, Teagle, who's seen some of the football in the first half, got an immediate view of it, and after that free kick, the holding on against Blee, just made the most of it with a lovely kick on the left foot.
Big size frame too. He's the exact same height as Luke Stranatic, who plays in the ruck. He's just a tick under the 100 keg mark, but just his 8th game of league footy, as we said, from Northampton, and haven't they produced some amazing footballers? Cripps come to mind, Hazelby.
Oh, good old Hayes.
Yeah. Actually bumped into him last week at a cross-country inter-school where his kids obviously inherited his genes of being a running machine as Robertson slammed face first into the turf by Jared Jansen. That's his 5th tackle of the afternoon. So he'll be a vital cog in the engine room as Jones just tries to grab the ball out of the ruck and Schmanatica throws the handcuffs on him.
Robinson's tagging Jansen in this second half. Jansen had a great impact in that second quarter. Robinson's looking to curtail it.
And he receives it right on cue. Kicks them inside 50. Can they respond? Mark's not paid. They managed to turn it over, however. Magro went through his legs and Schumacher still trying to bust their way through. Some heavy traffic. Hill's on the bottom of it. Marsh is in there on the scene. The tackles are being laid thick and fast. And is there a throw? There is. So the umpire right on the scene. That's Trent McPhee. They've been tremendous this afternoon. And he had the eagle eye there and spotted the throw as Nick Merritt was laying that tackle. And a chance for him to go back and kick his first of the day. Looking for goal number 10 on this 2021 season. Thanks to Optus. Thanks to Front Row Screens, CD Dodd Scrap Metal Recyclers. And also to Ross's Discount Home Centre, delivering high quality home improvement on building supplies at great prices. This could be a telling goal. They like it on the goal line. So Nick Merritt finally hits double digits on the season, his 10th. 15 waffle games, and that was a very, very good kick. Set shot Paul Persick, thanks to CD Dot replay.
Yeah, Nick Merritt got plenty of height on that one though, from inside the 50, but he had to make that kick count. Got plenty of leg on it, and he certainly made it count, and then some. Absolutely pumped about it is Nick Merritt, and rightfully so. Double-digit goals now for the season.
I think it was Young that was standing on the goal line. You could hear him through the headset. He was celebrating as that kick was on its flight path towards the big sticks, and that's the perfect response for the Royals, and they've been able to do that because East Fremantle have not kicked back-to-back goals rather this afternoon, Paul.
No, you're absolutely right about that as the ball is tossed back up in the middle. Jones gets the tap out. Again, Schumacher. Clearing kick out of the centre to the path of Maguire. Got in front. Couldn't take clean possession. Boakhurst. Hand pass comes out. They link up the Sharks. Oh, and there was a high hit there against Lynch. Free kick is paid and the advantage. Kick towards a one-on-one. No mark taken. O'Reilly amongst the tackling players. Ball finally shuttled out the front of the pack. English. Hand pass out to Bokhurst. Well played in the end by Sparks. Good pressure. Eaton fires it off to Hill. And now they go across the ground. Down the line goes Robertson to Simpson. No mark. Good pressure by Jump. And the Sharks can get a move on. Marsh fires the hand pass off. Releasing Bennett. Bennett swings it onto the right foot towards centre half forward. 1-on-1. Good spoil provided by Fulgrave, allowing Sparks to take possession. Comes back to Fulgrave. Roved it brilliantly off his own hand pass. Here comes Amajuri. Gets the hand pass out to Simpson. Fulgrave. And a well-judged kick across the ground to the run of Magro. Magro to the outer side, finding Blee. Blee goes down the line, and that's a good kick. That towards Aidan Lynch, the former Falcon. Down the line, the kick towards Merritt. Couldn't take clean possession. Well played by Jump, getting the hand pass out to Burton. And East Fremantle will look to settle on left half back. Kick finding Sassoni now. Hand pass comes out, playing it down the line. Bailey kicks towards left half forward, leaping high, O'Reilly. Great mark by O'Reilly. Follows it up with a kick towards the half forward line. Great mark by Snadden. Plays on. Goal. That is an immediate response that the Sharks wanted after conceding that goal to Merritt. But just the way they were able to move the football is rewarded with another fine goal. And the margin again back to 5 points as we go to the CD dot replay. Again, that O'Reilly mark, nothing short of spectacular. And then, what about this mark from Snadden?
Yeah, that was brilliant. Nothing that could be done in defence for the Royals. And that is the easiest goal he will kick. Only his second of the season. I'm sure it wasn't as easy as that one.
No goal ever is easy in football, Matty Chechens. But if you get an opportunity from that, you could easily slot that in from point-blank range. Those high marks really does tell another significant story that East Fremantle, despite making that tall timber up forward, they've still got good high-marking players, and that's what's keeping him in the game along with their forward pressure.
And O'Reilly now, that was his 6th mark. He leads all players in that category. So Amajuri off the deck. He's got Magro hard running, tries to affect that Shepherd. That was brilliant. The 1%er there. Pays off for the Royals. Can they get a mark inside 50? High, hanging ball. They've got a crummer. Snap on goal. Goes along the ground and just misses to the near side. Their last goal kicker in Merritt. So the Sharks dodge one there. They waste no time. They kick towards the broadcast side through Teakle's legs. Marsh impacts the contest with a strong tackle. How good was that from the big man?
It's his first real good contribution in the game today.
And that ball just landing short of its intended target. Good work mopping up there on the wing was Fulgrave. Wilcox, great use of the footy, finds Robertson. Said it wasn't 15, so is that going to be prior opportunity? No. The umpire getting out the tape measure, and probably correctly, because that ball just got to the point of the square, and there's no way that that was the required distance. So Robertson was halted there. Stranatica, well done this time. The basketball, they load up. They kick in towards O'Reilly. This time he elects to bring the ball down at ground level. Well done, Fulgrave, keeping the contest alive. Quiet game from him, but good hand pass in the end to Holmes. Holmes lowers the eyes, centering pass. And now a chance for the Sharks to kick back-to-back goals for the first time as Luke English goes in from the side. Have a look at this. The team play, centering pass thanks to CD Dodd. And the easiest of marks for Luke English, and a chance for him to kick his 10th goal of the season and back-to-back goals.
And that replay, thanks to CD Dodd, showed how high English can fly.
Yep.
And as mentioned, those high-flying markers in the forward line could be pivotal for the Sharks.
Guess you could say it was top marks for English. Can he make it pay? He does. Back-to-back goals for the Sharks. So they've kicked 3 this turn through Teakle, Snadden waltzing into a vacant square, and now Luke English after some great build-up play. And the Sharks knocked the game up 6-3 to 5-9. And we did mention, we don't want to sound like a broken record, Paul Persick, but that scoring shots and that the errant sort of disposal and also those set shot for goal might come back to haunt the Royals.
As it was in round 3, as you mentioned in our broadcast, Matt, their inaccuracy in front of goal, it could come back to bite them, but there's still a quarter and a bit of football still to go, so anything can happen, and it certainly has proved that all throughout the season thus far. Ball's back in the centre. Jones, beautiful tap to the run of Schumacher. Ooh, just couldn't take clean possession, but East Fremantle make the most of it. The hand pass comes out. Kick towards right half forward. Goes looking for O'Reilly. Couldn't take the mark. Dixon. Dixon well stood up in the tackle. He can go for goal here from 35 metres out. Puts it through. What a goal. Dixon. Hugh Dixon in his 30th game puts the Sharks in front for the first time this afternoon.
Well, throwback to yesteryear with that Simon Madden. I remember he kicked one in a final series back in, would have been around 1993. He just was almost perplexed as to how open he was. Have a look at this. Feigns the hand pass. Feigns another hand pass. Thinks, well, might as well drop it onto the left peg. And that is how you do it. 3 on the trot. And the Sharks retake the lead. Marsh is coming back onto the ground and he's heading straight towards the middle of the ground. And we mentioned at half-time, Paul, they kicked 7 unanswered goals against Subiaco last week. Arguably the best team in the competition, so they have it in them.
They certainly do, and they're proving it again in this third quarter. They've kicked 4 goals to 1 in the first half of this third quarter. Back up in the centre again. Teakle got the tap out, but the Royals have the numbers this time. The kick towards centre half forward. No mark. Getting on the end of it is Garinge, who hasn't seen a lot of it in this game thus far. Goes towards left centre wing. Comma running back, takes a good mark. Hand pass comes out to Bennett. Bennett goes for the short pass. No mark to Dixon. And Eaton is able to rattle that one off to right. Goes across the ground. Good kick. Finds Scott. Scott's kick towards right half forward. Robinson can go to Young on the lead if he wants to. But he sets up Scott and takes a fine mark. Beautiful mark by Scott, and the run towards the forward 50. Nothing short of fantastic. Robinson noted Scott roaming inside forward 50, just lowered the eyes and was able to go for that short pass towards Angus Scott.
Interesting, Scott then just made a beeline for Matthew Jupp, trying to get a 50-metre penalty. The umpire was awake to that one.
So Angus Scott, just to square it up once again. Gets close to the man on the mark, and it is across the face for a behind. 40 playing 45 at the 14-minute mark of this third quarter here at Leederville Oval. It's a real tight tussle in these unpredictable conditions here on Front Row Screen Sport.
So they bring it back in. It's a brilliant pinpoint kick to the far side of the ground. Couple of options down the line. They look to just peel off these kicks, and this was lacking, particularly in the midway point of that second turn for the Sharks. And this man's racking up the marks. So they get on with it. High and long. Jones, double-fisted spike. Only down as far as the Sharks player. Sando's on the scene. Now there's a whistle, and the umpire says that's a throw. So it's going to go back to Amaduri, the recipient of this free kick, and had a couple of those today. Players trying to get away with things in slick conditions. Kicks up towards Jones. Well spoilt this time. Coming over was Max Murphy, killing the contest. The Royals still with possession. Schumacher ran into a dead end. Still fight off the effective hand pass. Wilcox ran into a high tackle from Marsh. Umpire didn't think so, so Masando has to go down. He has to try and beat 2 Sharks. And that is holding the ball. Now, I can only recall that's our second holding the ball decision of the afternoon. That was a fantastic tackle by Baskerville. Now Marsh, such a penetrating kick up towards the kick-off line. It was well spoiled. Sharks with the crumbs. The snap around the corner is going to come off hands there from Luke English. Can't add to his goal earlier in the term, and that is through for a minor score. And East Fremantle have an even 6-point lead. 7-4, 46 to 5-10, 40. And that score brought to you by Ross's Discount Home Centre.
The Sharks have come out firing as Eaton brings it back into play. 2-on-1, spoilt from behind, no second bite at it. Hand pass over the top to North. Kick beautifully smothered by Teakle, and that allows the Sharks to repeatedly entry inside that 50. High kick towards O'Reilly.
You knew what was going to happen. That ball was in flight. O'Reilly had the sit, but he also has got the edge over Nathan Eaton as far as height goes. 188 centimetres coming up against 193. Writing was on the wall. He's just got to cap it off. Now he's had a superb game.
And he's going to go around the corner here. This is a tight angle to stretch the lead out to 12 points if he can kick it. 2 steps and goal. Great goal by O'Reilly. That's number 2 for the 20th game of his WAFL career. O'Reilly makes it 5 for the third quarter, and it is a 12-point lead to the Sharks, thanks to the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard 17 minutes into this third quarter.
Well, Bill Monahan must have given him an almighty rocket because they've come out firing, thanks to CD Dodd. Let's have a look at this. Not only great above the shoulders, but he's got the guile to be able to do that. Nick Comer comes over and says, well done, young man. And that's the biggest lead that the Sharks have enjoyed. 17.5 minutes ticked over on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard. Back in the middle, it's getting noticeably gloomier here at Leederville Oval. Not sure if we're going to have the floodlights put on this afternoon. You would probably suggest at the beginning of the 4th term.
Yeah, well, the cloud cover is getting much worse here at Leederville Oval. Plenty of grey skies at the centre of the ground. Stranatica gets the tap out. At the end of it is Robinson. He kicks towards full forward, 2-on-2. Great spoil by Jumper. The umpire's paid a free kick. It's going the way of the Sharks. Advantage is paid. Gorringe takes a bounce. Kicks towards the edge of the bullseyes to the path of Marsh. Great pickup by Marsh. Doesn't get favoured by the bounce. From 65 metres out, goes for the short pass. It's over the head of everybody. O'Reilly, good pickup. Is he going to swing onto the left foot? He does. It's bending back, but a bit too far. And it is a lucky break for the Royals are behind. Stretches the margin out to 13 points. What a pickup from Marsh.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he just bounced upon the turf. It didn't come back to him. And then clean pair of heels from O'Reilly. That would have been goal of the day if he could have snagged that. So Angus Scott is up to 21 disposals. Baskerville, Mead tied for the lead for the Sharks. 18 disposals apiece. As the Sharks look to bring it in, they do so. Kick down the line. Interesting spinning ball. And out of play right at the Sharks interchange gate. 13 points is the margin. Halfway through this third term, Paul Persick, Matt Chechens, and the team at Front Row Screens bring you all the action thanks to CD Dodd. And obviously to Optus, wonderful supporters of WAFL footy, both the men's and women's competition this season. Just grabbed straight out of the ruck from Simpson, tried to hand it off, much like a quarterback off to the running back. And they run into the blue and white jumper, and we'll have another stoppage on the wing.
We talked about at the halftime break how Jonathan Marsh really needed to lift this game. He has done just that in this third quarter.
One down by Teakle, and on cue, Paul, like you predicted it, Marsh kicks towards Stranatica. He elected not to jump. Can the big man stoop down from the penthouse to the basement? Not on this occasion, and rather awkwardly shins the ball out of play, but he'll get a chance to reset from the stoppage. He's got his hand up ready to nominate as Simpson has now been thrown into the ruck. Top 10 for goal kicking is Simpson. He won't manage to do it this time. Does win a hit out. And some strong tackling again. It's been a feature of the game this afternoon, as you would expect in these conditions. It was Luke English trying to bust his way through. Stranatica. Brilliant pickup this time. Swings around the corner and just must have been an absolute, only a hair's width in that. That would have been a fantastic goal for Stranatica. That's the most excited I've ever been for a point kicked in the WAFL.
Well, you've been excited for a number of points and also a few goals. September last year, anyone?
So the ball to be brought back in by Eaton. Long clearing kick. Out wide looking for Lynch it was. Couldn't take the mark. The Sharks get the turnover. This is Murphy. Elects not to go to the corridor, but swings it out towards the non-broadcast wing. Now they're queuing up back in the corridor. Into the hands of Mead. Dinks one over the top. Magro would want to get back on that mark. He doesn't want to give away a needless 50. The chip game again, successful. Chance to turn and go. Another chance for Stranatica. Gets a good run at it. Goes with the one hand. Lands awkwardly. English on the scene, but well done, East Perth. And I'll get a chance to clear now across right half back.
From right half back, Robinson. Good side step and gathers onto the right foot. It's a high kick. Garinge out the back, takes a great mark. Under pressure, saw the mismatch and was able to reel that one in on his chest. Garinge plays on, using the man on the mark rule to great effect. His kick towards left half forward, disappointing. North rebounds for the Royals. It comes out to right. Mazzando. Beautiful bullet hand pass onto right. Escapes the tackle. Has a bounce. 2 bounces. Goes onto the left foot. Finds Hill.
Oh, brilliant play from right.
Hill is good, looking to move it on quickly. He's got 2. Queuing up in the forward 50. Hand pass out to Kerr. Short pass onto Magro on the second bite. Doesn't get it. Off the ground. Gone to Jupp. Jupp short pass. Releasing a teammate in Montalban.
Yeah, deserved better there, East Perth. Great build-up play, and then that final kick entering inside 50 was just butchered.
Montalban from left half back. High kick. Players will fly. O'Reilly out the back. What a game he is having this afternoon. No doubt Stephen and the O'Reilly family will be proud of him. 20th game in a career plagued by injuries. His kick overrun by Stranatica. First to it is Wilcox. Hand pass out to Mazzando, and the Royals can switch it up again. They've resorted to this very often, but not all the time. It has proven effective. Kick back inboard. Robertson takes the mark and gets floored. Advantage is paid. No, the umpire's calling it back. Thought for a moment advantage was paid.
He's going to pay 50, but I thought that's a bit stiff. I don't think there was any malice in that. The ball was in flight. You're going at full tilt. That's tough to pull out of.
Yeah, especially when you're coming in at full speed at your opponent. So I'll have to go along with that remark. So Robertson, I reckon he could goal here from about 55 if he can put his best foot forward.
Well, just having a look at the sock now, and the rain is just really starting to tame down at the moment, and that sock is almost folding back on itself. The wind is that strong at the moment.
Robinson from 55 metres out. Long kick towards the top of the goal square. It's a goal! What a kick from Robinson! That might spark back the Royals. 6:10:46 to 8:6:54. 24 minutes into this third quarter on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard.
That's a bit like watching the PGA, thanks to CD Dodd. He's kicked this from just past the centre square. Have a look at this with a drop punt. It's like the short par 4 into a breeze, and the caddy hands you a 5-wood. He says, no, give me the big dog. I know what I'm doing. Because I've written him off from that range, particularly with that wind. That was right into the teeth of that. And 3/4 of the way up the big sticks as well. That is a massive boot. And to say that that is a much-needed goal is the understatement of the year, Paul.
And it certainly could be, especially late in this third quarter. It might spark them back into the game. Margin is now 8 points, 6:10 to 8-6. Here on Front Row Screen Sport. Don't you dare go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Get the hot sauce out. It is going to be a grandstand finish, we can assure you. Ball's going to be back in the centre. Jones and Stranatica. Stranatica gets the tap out. It comes out to a teammate there. It looks like it was Baskerville, but he gets bundled out in a tackle by Robinson. And it is going to be another ball up. 25 minutes in this third quarter. Could be a bit more. Stranatica punched away. Only as far as Scott. He gets taken high. And the free kick will go his way on centre half back. One more goal possibly, and they could have a big wave of momentum, Matty Chechens, as Scott plays it across the ground. 2-on-1, Schumacher, loan for East Perth, but well spoilt there by Jansen. Hand pass comes out, the Sharks looking to get a move on quickly. They link up with Baskerville, he couldn't take clean possession. Well swooped in by Bennett. Bennett short pass, finds Hugh Dixon. Dixon on the outer wing, sizing up his options now. Goes across the ground and a fine mark taken by Holmes. Goes inboard, finds Boakhurst. Now he can go here. Piercing kick towards the full forward zone, no mark. 2-on-1 in favour of the Sharks. Dixon goes onto the left foot, dribbles that one towards the target, but Mazzando swooped in and intercept. The kick comes in towards goal. No mark to Stranatica, couldn't hang on to that one. Sparks spins round one tackle. Hand pass out to Fulgrave. And chips it back to the top of the goal square. Risky kick. Wilcox onto English. Shoots towards goal. And he's put it through. No! He's at the post. I thought he had it for a moment there, but unlucky behind for English, especially with how East Perth were moving the ball.
Well, I'm not sure why Fulgrave decided to go there. Interesting, and they've only just managed to dodge the ball there. You would suggest probably a 30-minute term, Paul. We've had 7 goals kicked, so the next goal on this one's going to be crucial. Wilcox, have a look at that. Onto the chest, lace out. One of the best marks in the comp, Kerr. Sparks will go back to Kerr by hand. Has to go across his own goal face, and that allowed the spoil to come in.
Holmes it was.
Yeah, brilliantly read from him, and there was 2 options there. He went for the longer one. Maybe the shorter kick would have been the better percentage play, and East Perth coach Jeremy Barnard not too happy in the coach's box to our right. So the ball will come back in. Jones back onto the ball. You can see Schumacher's in on the scene. Bokhorst as well. Well done, Stranatica. Good use of the body. Right on the paint of 50. Jones with a clearing kick. Players trying to keep their feet on the outer side. They run out of room, but the ball trickles over the soggy turf on the outer side of the ground. Loftus Street end of the Leaderville Oval. Dark and gloomy conditions. The rain looking to ease at this stage, but that breeze, the windsock, still horizontally blowing across the ground. This ball will get held up in it. Jones just plucks it out of the air onto his right boot. Bouncing ball up towards Simpson was well judged. Lovely little hand pass out to Murphy. Now Murphy looks to dink one in towards the circles. In goes Wilcox, lost his feet. They turn it over. English, they can move it up now. A couple of leads have been offered. That allows the vacant square, and the flying shot goes through. Well, there were so many options coming short, and he just took it upon himself, Bokhorst. He's had a great game, and with that vacant square, he just decides, I'm going to go for it. Have a look at this, CD dot replay. As he crosses the paint of the attacking edge of that square, looks up, sees that no one's at home, and goes bang. And as they do in modern footy, breaks his way off the ground. That's their 6th goal of the term, Paul.
Yeah, mirroring what they did last week against Subiaco, where they kicked 7, maybe 1 more, and it'll equal their best quarter this season. Just the way they're going in this 3rd quarter, they've pulled the game right out of East Perth's shoes. 9-7 to 6-10.
Now, when I said at half-time they kicked 7 unanswered goals to Subi, I didn't think the Lightning was going to strike twice.
Well, sometimes it does in football.
East Perth have just stopped, haven't they?
Yeah, they've screeched to a sudden halt. Jones gets the tap out, but intercepted. And again, the Sharks have got numbers around the football. Marsh takes it in at ground level. Did he drag it in? They're wanting holding the ball, but it's a high tackle. Free kick will go the way of Marsh. Plays on immediately. Long kick. They'll contest about 15 from their forward zone. No mark to Stranatica. Sock it off the ground towards goal.
Stop
what
it.
A goal! What a magnificent goal, Dixon! Dixon gets his 3rd. He's having another ripper game this afternoon, and they have equalled that 7-goal haul from last week.
Have a look at this, folks. CD dot replay. Good things happen when you put the ball up towards the kickoff line. Stranatica, and then have a look at that. You might see that at Old Trafford or the Emirates in the round ball game.
Even Brentford.
Have a look at that. The big man doesn't need to get his hands on it, just volleys the ball from clean air. That was superb.
It certainly was. Dixon with number 3. He kicked 1 in the opening quarter, and he's kicked 2 in this 3rd quarter, and he's Fremantle. Those alarm bells were ringing at half-time, and they have come unglued.
He likes that end of the ground, Paul.
In this 3rd
all 3
quarter.
To the right of screen.
Certainly does. 10-7. Playing 6-10. East Perth looking for 1 more response to 3-quarter time. The kick towards the forward zone. Sparks, 1-on-1 with Murphy. And now he's going to have Bokhorst for company. Oh no, that's not Bokhorst. Rather, that's Burton. And East Fremantle did it well. That pressure on the football from Burton in particular. His left foot kick finds Teakle. Teakle on the defensive side of centre, being told to move it by the umpire. Kicks down the line, Teakle. 2-on-1. Wilcox. Great mark out the back of the pack. Again, solid contributor in that defensive half. Kicks to right, out to Robertson, releases Kerr. And a beautiful kick to the run of Hill. Could this be one final response Hand pass over the top. Edwards Baldwin kicks to the direction of Magro, and just over the head of him and his opponent, and over the line for a throw-in. So 7 goals to 2 in this third quarter.
It's been a bit of the tale of this third term for East Perth, and that final kick inside 50 to Lynch was just 6 inches too high and allows the ball to be knocked out of bounds, and they give another opportunity away to kick a major.
Simpson, up and under kick. Hill couldn't take the mark. The Sharks can clear the kick. Only as far as a few east from East Perth players there. One of them was Wilcox, and he fires it across the ground towards Kerr. Kerr on the attacking side of centre. Not too long to go in this third quarter. There's the siren. A massive third quarter by the Sharks. They've equalled that haul from last week against Subiaco. 7 goals to 2, and they have themselves a comfortable lead of 31 points at three-quarter time. The alarm bell certainly rung, Mac Chechens, and they rung in a big way.
7 goals to 2, as you said, and they have tipped this contest on its head, Paul, and it's the big men that have really stood up in, you would have to say, conditions that aren't really favourable for any sort of player over 6'2". You have a look at Teagle.
I must say 21 points rather.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Teagle, mental mass isn't my strong point. O'Reilly, he's taken almost double digits in marks. Hugh Dixon kicked 2 in that term. Bokhorst kicked 1 on the run from 50 metres. And also Snadden, who was a recipient of a nice little give over the top and running in to the open square. And just like that, 11-point margin turns now into a 21-point advantage. As we turn for home here at Leederville Oval, the Sharks looking to go back-to-back after their upset of Subiaco. Can they do it again? Find out on the other side of this break. We'll be right back on Front Row Screens.
Shutterguard has been installing Perth's best shutters for over 30 years. With no advertising signs on your front lawn and no sales gimmicks, visit shutterguard.com.au.
Matt Chechens and Paul Persick bringing you back to live shot from Leederville Oval, and that huddle would be ecstatic. A 7-goal-to-2 term has spun this game on its axes. Paul Persick, talk us through it. That was tremendous work, particularly from the tall timber of the Sharks.
And we talked about that tall timber at the beginning of the third quarter, how they were lacking something, but they started to get it all back together in that third quarter. I mean, 7 goals to 2 in that third quarter. Massive term by the Sharks. The likes of Teagle, English and Dixon getting amongst the goals. Simply magnificent.
As you have a look, that first goal in that term to Teagle, and then the immediate response from Merritt, and then the Sharks did what they haven't done throughout this whole round 20 contest on the back of this man's marking game and his input, and also the big man in John O'Marsh has really led by example in this third term. They kicked 3 unanswered goals and they end up kicking 7-2, as we said, and now enjoy a 20-point plus lead at three-quarter time, and this is holding them instead. I know there's still got 2 rounds left at the conclusion of Optus round 20 for this season 2021 of the WAFL, but really it's about developing momentum, maybe giving more games to some of the younger players, and maybe trying to be a finals force next year for the Sharks. I still think that they're 1 or 2 crumbing forward short of being able to challenge for that top 5 position, because you have a look, all the top 5 teams have got great big forwards, but they've also got those wonderful complementing players like your Ninets, your
Donaldson, your Schlensog for South Fremantle.
Exactly, yeah.
And your Knots and your Knots for West Perth accompanying Keitel. East Fremantle, I will agree, they do have some good tall timber, but they're missing another good, consistent tall forward. But the way they're going about it, as we see here, O'Reilly's snap goal
could almost be
late in the quarter.
Best on ground. He's only had 10 disposals, but he's taken 8 marks and kicked a goal, and he's had a few goal assists as well. And once they got a run on the Sharks, there was no stopping him in that third term, and they've done it 2 weeks in a row. They kicked 7 goals, 1 last week, and held Subiaco scoreless. Couldn't do that to East Perth this time, but still +5 in the goals department in that term. And if you have a look, 68 to 60 is the mark count in favour of the Sharks, and they're +7 in inside 50s as well, Paul.
Now, they also made the most of East Perth's poor disposal. I mean, East Perth suddenly stopped in that third quarter, even though there was a late goal to Robinson from 55, which was a very big goal. It could have been telling in the context of this game, but the way East Fremantle responded to that early pressure with that big bag of goals. And think about this. 3 goals in 6 minutes. English, Dixon and O'Reilly, and then 2 in a minute with Boakhurst and Dixon getting those goals. And there's the coach, Bill Monahan. No doubt he'll be a very happy man after that third quarter, but knows that there is still a quarter to go. 21 points in it.
Those 3 youngsters, effectively, that you said, that's the future of the forward line for the Sharks at the moment, because they can all take grabs, but they're also good at ground level, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about in the halftime break is that it's not just the tall timber that East Fremantle would have to be relied upon. Yeah. They've got some good small forwards that can complement that forward structure. English, what a great couple of games he's had in the last few weeks. English, Dixon, who's a nice mid-forward, O'Reilly, one of their main tools, but they've got a good small forward contingent that can accompany those tall forwards. East Perth, they don't have enough of that. They've only got Simpson as one of their key tall forwards. Wright and Magro are small forwards. They're lacking the tall timber at the moment.
Yeah. Just going around the grounds, live at David Gray's Arena down there in Mandurah, and Peel Thunder have fought their way back into this game. I mean, they trailed 1-5 to 5-2 at quarter time against the West Coast Eagles reserves, but they fought back. They're 6-12-48, trailing West Coast 10-7-67. So they've got that margin back within 20 points. The fourth term here about to get underway. Now, East Perth, potentially, I mean, they're kicking to the scoring end of the ground despite the windsock blowing across the ground. So that could be the silver lining in that third term cloud, as Jones will take on Teakle in the ruck, but you would suggest they need to get the first 2 unanswered if they're going to stand a chance in this fourth term.
First 10 minutes are going to be important indeed, Matt Chetchins, as this final quarter is about to get underway, but a gloomy Leaderville Oval. But the action is getting hotter and hotter at this late stage in the season. Jones taps it out. Teakle gains possession. Gets caught as soon as he got boot to ball. Robinson gets on the end of it. Gets boot to ball. Just inside the centre square. Sparks gets the hand pass out to Amajuri. It's an up and under kick. They'll contest about 55. Schumacher no mark. Good pick up. The hand pass comes out to Young. He gets bundled out by 2 Sharks. Merritt. Hand pass out to Simpson. Snaps it around the corner. He's put it through. Simpson in the first minute started off strong for the Royals, and the margin is now back out to 15 points. Here at Leaderville Oval, 7-10 playing 10-7 for the first minute on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard.
Yeah, just what the doctor ordered, and they're back within 3 straight kicks now. And I tell you what, you would not think that it was pouring with rain today and it was wet and blustery, because the big men have really outshone the smaller compatriots. Just a quick shout out, Bill Jean. Sharks are building, aren't they? Definitely much better than their ladder position suggests. Finals next year.
Absolutely, Billy. Absolutely.
And goal and David Edmondson. So shout out to you, and Jordan Chambers as well. Special shout out.
Royals have started off well, and they could do it again. Lynch got on the end of it. His kick towards the forward 50, 2-on-1. No mark. Ball spills free. Jump. Gets the hand pass out to Garinge, and now they're away, the Sharks. Long kick towards the attacking side of centre for the Royals. Lynch again takes clean possession, swings onto the right foot to the path of Young. Ooh, couldn't take clean possession there. Garinge fires the hand pass to the path of Hill. Spins out of the tackle well, gets it back to Young. Was he caught? No, umpire says play on, but great defensive pressure by the Sharks, and they fire it out to Boakhurst. Boakhurst kicks towards right centre wing. O'Reilly releases Lester Smith. Long kick towards left half forward, but only as far as north for the Royals. First 2 minutes into this final quarter, 15 points the margin on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard as Scott takes the mark on right centre wing. He's going to go short. Was it 15? Yes. Eaton is going to switch it up now to Mazzando. Great game he's played on the defensive end. Onto the left foot, across the ground. Lovely judged kick to the path of Hill. What are the options for Hill? Sidesteps the tackler. Beautiful kick to the path of Kerr. Close to the boundary line. Kerr tried to fire the hand pass out, but pressured into a mistake by Tassoni. The hand pass comes out. It's starting to get foggy here at Leederville Oval once again as the kick comes out to Lynch, and the Royals have it locked in their forward half. Lynch's kick towards a target. Simpson with the second bite, no mark. Schumacher breaks free from the tackle and is across the face for a behind.
Well, he had his right arm ready to celebrate that one, and unfortunately it just missed. Won't have to put in a call to the wonderful man in the truck, Matt Williamson. We need some demisters up here, Paul. It's getting a little foggy in here.
And the skyline's getting blanketed again because of the rain.
Probably not a bad thing for the supporters having to look into us in the box. So here come the Sharks. Brilliantly weighted kick to Luke English, former Richmond listed player. That's an interesting looking spinning ball towards the interchange gates. Well spoiled. Player gets dispossessed. They come in, they slide in 2-on-2 here, and no prior opportunity, so a chance for both teams to reset. So East Perth have ticked the box. They kicked the first goal. They need to get the second.
But if East Fremantle get the response, it's going to make it a lot tougher.
Could take the wind out of their sails. Jones couldn't get decisive palm on the footy. Marsh has really stepped up. Hill kicks end over end. That's a bit of a chaos ball. Ends up hitting Jupp in the face. Well done, Murphy. Dispossessed the ball carrier. Schumacher. Well, that was interesting. It slew off the side of his boot, but into the arms of Robertson. Dispossessed this time, but did well. Paddled it back to Massando. They link up now. Well, going without the footy there was Lynch. And the umpire is going to pay advantage to Massando. So the players stopped through the hands of Simpson. Back with Jupp. He recedes ground, but they maintain possession. The two number 5s going at it. That was Murphy and Wilcox. The latter wins that battle. That was barely 15 metres, but the mark is going to be paid. So the Royals will be happy to just try and control the football here. Get some numbers inside forward 50. The Sharks on their heels in the early stages. Wilcox is ignored with a hand pass. Bit of a barrel, end over end, up towards Simpson. He's had a couple of bites in the forward line. Schumacher fed it off by a hand. They're running out of room. He'll receive it back. Murphy, outstanding tackle, but it says play on. So the Royals, what can they manufacture? That was a great tackle as well. So brilliant stuff in the last line of defence from Mead, I think it was, and they get the relieving kick out towards right half back.
East Fremantle wanting to get a move on quickly now. The kick to the outer side is going to find Holmes. Great spoil there by Merritt, Jones rather. Out to Scott. Scott fires the hand pass. Releases Robertson. Robertson an up and under kick towards the attacking side of centre and finds Amajuri. Amajuri's looking to play on. He goes to the outer side, goes looking for Hill. Great pressure in the end there by Bailey. Fires the hand pass. The Sharks are clear. The kick intended for a teammate, but it's going to bounce in favour of Amajuri. Out to Magro. High kick with the left foot. They'll contest about 35 metres out. Simpson was one of the targets. A free kick going against Simpson. That was a push out of the contest, and it's going to go the way of Jupp. Jupp plays on quickly to Boakhurst. Great second half he has had, including that long goal late in the third quarter. Boakhurst kick finds Tassoni from right half back. Tassoni, not a lot of options being sized up, so he's going to have to go across the ground with a short pass on the paint of 50. Bailey. Lights are turned on here at Leederville Oval, just as you predicted, Chechens. High kick, Teakle leaping high, couldn't take the mark.
Oh,
Robertson almost kicking in danger there, not paid by the umpire.
How was that not kicking in danger?
That is a lucky one, I'd have to say.
Oh, you don't want to see that. That could have ended in disaster.
Yeah, it could have, but yeah, if a free kick would have been paid, maybe it could have eased the shock of the situation, but the play will go on. The margin, 14 points, 7-11 to 10-7. East Perth not out of it. But if the Sharks can kick another goal, it'll take the wind out of the Royal Sails. Lynch, was he caught without it? No, umpire calls play on Jones. And there's a free kick, non-officiating umpires paid high. And it's going to go the way of the Royals. It'll be Kerr.
Well, the umpire pointed the wrong way and some of the locals let them know, but they're doing their best.
Amajuri kicks towards right half forward, and it's a fine mark taken by Young. He's got a couple of targets roaming inside forward 50, but Young's going to go for it, I reckon. He's going to back himself and take the risk.
Well, Schumacher's just offered 2 leads, short into the pocket. He's under the watchful eye of Murphy, but was ignored on both occasions.
So Matthew Young with the breeze blowing.
This will bring the house down if he kicks this ball.
From on the paint of 50, it's not going to make the distance. Kicks from the corner, fine mark, Jupp. And Jupp will get things moving for the Sharks.
I'll tell you what, Jupp has stood up in this 4th quarter. Magro, good forward half pressure. In comes Wilcox, just gets rid of the East Fremantle half back there. Chance to just step through the traffic, and the little chiseling ball into the grateful hands of Hill, and a chance for him to kick back-to-back goals for the Royals. Now, we have seen throughout the afternoon, this is probably the toughest spot in the whole ground for a set shot, because it's just beyond 40 metres and right into the teeth of a very strong breeze.
And the Royals have not kicked back-to-back goals at all in this game either.
So an opportunity for Shane Hill. He's kicked 8 goals, 7. They need him to stand up, and he leaves it hooking across the face of goal and through for a minor score. And there is that big breeze right on cue.
Tell you what, Shane Hill would be a little bit unlucky there, because that was a really big chance to put even more pressure on the Sharks. So the Sharks, they need to make the most of this next passage.
So they've got an option short in the pocket, and that's where it goes. And they move it further down the field, but it's been smothered. So a chance for Maguire, hooks it around towards Young. And this time he will make no mistake, because sprawling on the ground is Gorringe, and a fantastic centering ball from Maguire. He's been a little quiet after he kicked the opener. And Young knows that time is of the essence, so he punches it through. He's 2nd of the game. 16 goals he's kicked on the season, none more important than that. To win this game, it brings it back now to 7 points. Definitely doable for the Royals.
They needed to kick the first 2 goals. They can tick that box as well, but they need to kick 2 more to hit the front. And it's not going to be easy, especially in these tricky conditions that we've had here all afternoon. 8-12 to 10-7 on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard. Paul, this game is not finished by a long shot, I can assure you. 3
more scoring shots as well, and I can only remember it'll be less than a handful of rush behinds this afternoon for both teams. It's just been errant kicking. Now Marsh just on Robertson right now, so 2 tough hombres about to lock horns.
That'll be a great battle for the final quarter. So it's back in the centre now. Jones and Teakle. Teakle won it out. Wright gets on the end of it. Onto the left foot. Towards centre half forward, 1-on-1. No mark. Hill gets the spoil. That's a great effort to the path of Lynch. Goes to ground. Hill goes to ground as well. He gets caught in a tackle. They're wanting holding the ball, but they are not going to get it.
Tell you what, John O'Marsh, take a bow. That was a superb tackle on a much smaller opponent. And no offence to Hill there whatsoever, but those ones from a big man can easily slip high.
Jones with a backhand onto Lynch. Going to ground. Boakhurst didn't. He kept his feet brilliantly and swung onto the right foot. And he kicks to the path of Holmes, but it's going to beat him and Scott. What's the umpire going to say? Oh, good God almighty. Interesting decision there.
Under heavy duress too. That's tough.
Gives the Royals a chance to move it forward. Scott's kick to the path of Simpson. Fine mark 2. Simpson onto the left, onto the right foot. Players flying. One of them goes up. And the Sharks defence, they stayed down. High kick with the left foot out of the defensive 50. Finding Matthew Jupp, who has played a sensational game on the defensive end. Hand pass releasing Boakhurst. Kick towards centre half back, finding Lester Smith. Lights are fully on here at Leederville Oval. Under grey, darkening skies on this Saturday afternoon, Lester Smith's kick is only finding Wilcox. What's the umpire going to say about this one? Deliberate as well! Goodness gracious me! About a couple of key deliberates there. No doubt some fans won't be happy with that one. Robertson releasing Schumacher. His kick towards the full forward zone. Young in front, good spoil from behind. Coming in is Merritt, laying a team tackle on a Sharks player. And the umpire says, I will have it. Well,
I really don't like putting down the umpires at all, but they are too head-scratching deliberate out of bounds for me.
ball comes out to Young, trying to break through the tackle. Gone, holding the ball. East Fremantle will get a chance to move it from defensive end.
Matthew Jupp, he has been the player of this fourth term, hands down. And his disposal is pinpoint on this occasion. East Fremantle just be happy with some kick mark. That didn't go the required distance. So they're hemmed in. The left back pocket up towards Stranatica. They're going to pay that, they will. Well, in fact, it's a high chopping of the arm. So Stranatica, oh, he's getting it the other way. So the umpire did initially point to the left of our screen and has then corrected himself.
That was his all along because of the high contact, and 50 as well.
So that is a big play in the context of this game. Now, I'm pretty sure Stranatica, well, he can't take the kick, so Marsh, probably the longest kick in this team, loads up from the edge of the square up towards the kickoff line. Masando, clever hand pass out the back door towards Kerr, and he just has to throw it onto the boot. In fact, that was Angus Scott, my apologies. And it's going to be turned over. Now Marsh, with his arms raised at 40 metres, no one on him. Hasn't been spotted. Kick well smothered. Probably a good result in the end for the Royals. That was a needless 50 metres. Now Stranatica, under the attention of two runners underneath our noses here at the broadcast wing, just making his way off the ground.
That is a massive blow for the Sharks, if you look at that. And what about that kick from Lester Smith? Why didn't he go to Marsh? He had 10 metres of space all on his own.
So ball comes back in. Jones won it down. Marsh, receding ground, leaves Jones on the floor. Snap around the corner. Could that go through? Oh, it has! Jono Marsh, that is superb. No doubt one of the goals of the season for the East Fremantle Sharks. Well, he's got his palms raised. Have a look at this, thanks to CD Dodd. He was running away. Jones, like Bambi on ice, fell over. There's no review for touch off the boot, unfortunately. And he's perplexed as much as anyone at the ground, and that may seal the deal for the Sharks. Have a look at the response.
He's pumped Jono Marsh. That is a telling goal.
That was brilliant.
We said he needed to lift in that second half, and he has certainly done that. Great possession of the football. He's been attacking hard, and that goal might have sealed it for East Fremantle.
And he'll head back to the middle. He's not coming off the ground. He goes straight to Schumacher. So Jones, they've had to move Teakle into the ruck. Gets pushed off the footy. Oh, Jones went in and collected the Sharks player high. Wasn't paid. Marsh lost his feet. Jones, well done. Fired off the hand pass. The umpire's seen something. Can he pay advantage? It's coming back. So Schumacher was wheeling away from the contest. And in the end, he has to feed it back. So free kick for Angus Scott. Prodigious ball winner. Is that going to be 50? They're asking for it. Two players running through the mark.
That should have been 50, let me say that.
Would have been the square up. So Scott just has to poke it high and long towards Jones. Second bite, gets paid the mark. Off by hand now. Schumacher kicking up towards Robertson. He's in an arm wrestle. Ball falls to ground. Young snaps around the corner and it's through. Well, they get the immediate response. Two clever snaps. First of all from Marsh. That one from Young. We need to credit Nick Robertson because he impacted that. He couldn't take the mark. I think he was the intended target. Let's have a look thanks to CD Dodd. Let's have a look at this. Just clears house. Allowed a little bit of space for Young, who's such a fantastic goal sneak, to swing around. He's kicked 2 in the fourth and he's kicked 3 for the game. Breathing life back into the contest. We're back to 7 points, Paul Persick.
11-7 to 9-12 on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard. That goal, a much needed one from Young after that 50-metre penalty, and of course that eventual goal for Marsh. Not over yet. We are in for a sensational finish, so hold on to your hats, viewers. Anywhere in West Australia and around the world. Back in the centre. Jones with the clean tap. It comes out. Little pushing and shoving going on. The hand pass comes out. Favouring Baskerville. Sparks. Gets caught. Making a hard tackle there on Baskerville. What's the umpire going to say? Umpire says, I'll have it. You can hear the noise of the Royals fans. Black and blue all around Leederville Oval. And there'll be a ball up on the edge of the centre square. Jones again wins the tap down. It comes out of the centre. Hard tackle being made on from Amaturi. What's the umpire going to say? I'll have it as well. 17.5 minutes in this final term. What will the Royals do to manufacture another goal? Free kick is going the way of the Sharks. So there was an illegal push out of the contest.
No, he's handing it back to East Perth.
No. Well, I have to say, first I thought it was Stranatica, but nonetheless, the hand pass comes out to Sparks. 2 on 2 on 2. Simpson! Simpson with a fine mark. And this could be the opportunity to make it a point the difference.
Plays on, he's got it.
Goal! Time he knew it was of the essence. And Simpson gets another goal for the Royals. And believe it or not, the margin is now 1 point.
Well, 4 goals to 1. CD Dodd replay. Simpson, usually so meticulous in his preparation, just decides to kick around the corner. He knows that time is an issue for East Perth. That margin back to 1 point. Nobody tipped a draw. Have we had a draw this season?
No, we have not had a draw this season. Not a single one. We could have our first one here. Anything can happen in 10 minutes of footy, and it usually does. A point the difference, 11-7 to 10-12. As the ball is about to be tossed in the air, Stranatica's back on, in the ruck. Jones wins the tap out. Amajuri gets first to it. He's up against Bokhurst. Amajuri soccers it off the ground to the path of right. Right from outside the 50. Swings it onto the left foot. It's going towards goal. And it is out of bounds. Oh, almost to behind there, but just on the outer post. So it'll be a throw-in at the 20-minute mark on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard. A goal and East Perth hit the front. They've kicked the first 4 of this final term. How can they manufacture this chance, and how can East Fremantle get themselves clear? Simpson in front, taps it back. Tackle applied by Magro. What's the umpire going to say? I'll have it, thank you. It's about 25 metres out from the Royals' goal. Jeremy Barnard to our right, no doubt screaming. Big tap out. It comes to Magro. He gets caught. The pressure being applied. No free kick. Magro makes another tackle. A hard one on Jansen. The kick comes in from Young around the corner. He's got it!
What a goal!
Matthew Young! You have got to be kidding me! Matthew Young gets his third of the quarter, and the Royals are back in front. Ho-ho! CD Dodd replay of this one. Magro applied the tackle on Jansen. The hand pass went out, and on instinct, Young with the snap around the corner. What an amazing goal! Ha ha!
Talk about young talent time, and what a time to do it too. The Royals, in this arm wrestle in the second half, have retaken the lead. He's kicked 4 for the game. I mentioned earlier in the call, he kicked 1 goal 3 in that game where they had more scoring shots than the Sharks, particularly in the opening term in that loss, and he has turned it around individually, and what a fight back this has been from the Royals.
The heart's ticking, and I no doubt the hearts are ticking. Many fans around Leederville Oval today, inside many fans at Leederville Oval, and the viewers at home.
Well, everyone in front of us here on the members wing or the broadcast wing were out of their seats. That was superb. Can the Sharks muster up something? It's been difficult to kick goals to the left of screen. Teakle liked his efforts today. Well spoiled. Ball comes down at ground level. Here come the Sharks. There's a one-on-one in the square. How will it bounce? Will it set up kindly for the Sharks? It does! And they retake the lead.
Comma.
Nick Comer's been really sighted this afternoon. And he gets his right toe to the ball. Can this game have anything else? East Fremantle now with their noses in front. Have a look at this. The entry inside thanks to Bennett. Comer used his experience. The ball sat kindly, and there were 3 Royals racing back to their defensive goal line, and Comer will he apply the exclamation point.
Absolutely, I reckon. But anything can still happen. We're not ruling the Royals out of this one, so maybe the exclamation point isn't planted on just yet.
We'll leave it at a question mark.
Absolutely.
Back in the middle. So that was the ultimate response. Teakle has done fantastic. Jones outpoints him this time. It's going to be gathered and kicked forward by the Sharks, this time by Jansen. Up towards Dixon. He flew high. Couldn't take the mark. The Royals trying to get numbers back there. Well done in the end from Kerr. They feed it off by hand. Wilcox on the outer side of the ground has to spin one way then the other and then delivers to Schumacher. Wastes no time. Squares it up to Amajuri. Oh, that's a straight hand pass into a 2-on-1. Somehow towed forward. And they've managed to maintain possession. The hand pass received now by Kerr. Kerr gets dragged down, kicks towards Robertson. He's taken in a good tackle. Somehow the ball comes back towards Kerr. He gets wrapped up in the tackle, gets the effective hand pass away. The Sharks fighting tooth and nail at the moment. In goes Teakle. He tries to go off the ground. Well done, Schumacher. Won it towards Amajuri. Kicks off the step, rather. That was Kerr. Kicks down the line. Jupp. He's been there all game. That was a clean tackle as well. Now a chance for the Royals. Robertson with a volley. Gets them inside 50. Can the Sharks stand up this time? They can. Marsh onto his right boot. That's gone 60 metres. Up towards the wing in Dixon. Good follow-up tackle. The ball gets jarred loose. Off shins. Out of bounds on the full. And it will go the way of the Royals.
A point the difference now on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard. 79 plays 78. Kick towards the attacking side of centre. And East Perth have the ball in their hands through Robertson.
So 7 goals in the term, Paul. So you probably suggest around a 30-minute term.
I'd have to say, Marsh regathers, up and under kick, back onto the bullseyes. Brilliant spoil from behind Mazzando. Gets it back, gets caught, strong tackle. What's the umpire going to say? Holding the ball. The tackle being made by Snadden. Snadden with the free kick on the defensive side of centre. He has Burton screaming for it. Where's Snadden going to go? Across the ground. That kick covers around 50 metres. Kerr reels it in. Great mark by Rowan Kerr. He's played a blinder. Risky kick. And the Sharks have got numbers around the football. The hand pass comes out to Lester Smith. Check side kick towards the goal square. It's only going to go as far as the right-hand side for a behind.
I'll tell you what, a valuable point because that moves it back out to 2 points now. So East Perth have to kick a goal if they want to win the game.
Well, there is still time.
Yeah.
There is still time for the Royals to kick it, but they're going to have to take every risk imaginable. Straight down the guts. Players fly high. Schumacher was one of them, no mark. Again, they get a high kick to the Royals. 1-on-1. Sparks in front, no mark. Overrun by Robinson. Sparks again. Hand pass comes out. Intercepted. In front English. Releasing Boakhurst. Over the top. Out towards Holmes. Holmes gets the kick. Inboard towards centre half forward. Fine mark. The Royals are on again.
And they're round
Jones.
2.
And they've got something going here. Through Scott. His kick. A shocker. And finds Marsh. What a second half from Jono Marsh. He's played a ripper for a second half.
Now, he had 4 options laterally and just did the veteran thing and just took a bit of time out of the game with that mark.
Spoil from behind. Ball comes out. Over the top to Wilcox. Concedes some ground and finds Lynch. Lynch needing to size up options quickly. Out to Wilcox. Wilcox told to play on. Got the hand pass out. It was a risky one. Fulgrave. Out to Lynch. Kicks down the line. Hill over the top, no mark. Great pressure being applied there by Burton. Gets it back. Swings onto the left foot towards a 2-on-2. Leaping high with Scott, no mark. Went down when he shouldn't have. Lester Smith gets caught by Wilcox. Fires off the hand pass. And now the Sharks have got it inside 50. 1-on-1. O'Reilly out the back. Stayed down towards the goal square. He's put it through. And you can say, well, I'm going to be daring. Signed, sealed and delivered for the Sharks. O'Reilly gets another one. And they again make it an 8-point ball game. Here at Leederville Oval, 13-8 to 11-12. 26.5 minutes in on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard.
He has been superb. He's popped up at all the right moments. He was instrumental in leading that resurgence for the Sharks in the third term to allow them the chance to almost seal this win. I'm still not going to write off East Perth, but he's kicked 3 goals. He kicked 1 in the first, 1 in the third, and that one now in the fourth. And he has been brilliant today, particularly above the shoulders, heading towards 10 marks for the game. So, right, we'll need to get out of the square. You don't want to give away a free kick for having the wrong numbers in parts of the ground, Paul.
No, you certainly wouldn't, especially this late in the game, because just like that, the team could really fire off to their forward 50 just like that. Up she goes. 8 points the difference now. It comes out to Boakhurst. Clearing kick towards the attacking 50. One-on-one. Great spoil from Fulgrave. It's into the path of a couple of Sharks. One of them was English. He gathers. Caught in a good tackle by Edwards Baldwin. They're wanting deliberate. Yeah. It's deliberate! Well, a couple of Sharks players not happy about it. But Magro will be happy with that, though, as he will take the free kick. But I think time is going to be very important for the Royals. They need to move it quickly. But a mark like that from Teakle is not going to help.
He's had a great second half, this young man.
Yep. Chosen in as a result of a late withdrawal from Erdley. The kick towards right half forward, no mark. Amajuri from right half back, punched forward, free kick, there's a trip. A free kick for tripping on the legs. And it's going to go the way of Amajuri. And at least Fremantle player pleading his case. But it's not going to help. The Royals steer clear from defensive 50. Great mark over the top from Jones. Releasing Magro. Magro swings onto the left foot. It's a high kick. One-on-one. Young reels it in. At the second bite of the cherry, he makes the most of it.
Yeah, may have copped a little bit of a corky there, or a dead leg. Now, I know that time's of the essence, but you still need to go back and complete this task. And as I said, this is a tough spot to kick goals on the ground.
This will be for his fifth.
Yep.
He's kicked 3 in the last quarter from 35 metres out.
He's got it.
Make it 4. Young gets his 4th goal of the quarter and 5 for the game. It is now back to 2 points, and I'd say about a minute and a half to go.
What a fourth term. 4 majors for that man in Young. Under heavy pressure, wasn't the best ball drop. He's looking rather proppy on one leg. So we come back to the middle.
9 goals kicked in this last quarter.
29.5 minutes have ticked over. So you would suggest that probably 1 minute or less. It's hard to tell with the clock that counts up in this competition. So they need to get this ball, and quickly. Jones has been doing it all game. Teakle into the ruck, so the ball comes up. What have the Royals got? Can they fire off another one? This is Teakle. Could that be the game-winning clearance? He pumps them inside 50. Was Stranatica held? Knows that the umpire, Wilcox, fed it off. Now a chance. Last roll of the dice, you would suggest, for the Royals. John O'Marsh.
What a game.
Yeah, and a superb mark too. Just out-muscled Robertson. He raises his hand and says, let's just take a bit of the air out of this contest. He goes long. He goes high. Masando leading the chase. Had it spoiled from him. Schumacher on the scene. His tackle wouldn't stick on this occasion. Well, that drops short. And there's the siren. A fantastic win. Players all across the ground on their haunches. Congratulations to the Sharks. That was a gutsy win. And commiserations must go to the Royals, because they stood up, they provided a fantastic comeback, particularly from Young in that fourth term. He kicked 4 goals to give them a sniff. They needed to win that clearance, and what a big one it was to win for young Teakle. The decisive clearance. There's bodies strewn all across the ground. Paul Persick, what a game of footy.
That was, without a doubt, one of the best games of the season, and between 2 teams that were playing for nothing but pride. But this would suggest the East Fremantle win could be a final side next year if they get one big forward into that equation. But the way these sides played today, they just did not give in until the final siren. And a second half that swayed in momentum. East Fremantle got 7, and then East Perth got 6, including that big stretch by Young in the final term, where he got 4 in the last quarter and 5 for the game. And John O'Marsh, he's the hero for me this afternoon. We predicted that he needed to lift, in the second half during a halftime break, and he did exactly that. He's the best player on the ground for me today.
Yeah, Dylan O'Reilly was superb also. That man on screen in Young kicked 5 for the game, 4 of those in the final term, and just provided a lot around the ground. Some great contributors for both sides. Let's have a look at some of the numbers. Rowan Kerr, 30 disposals, 8 marks. Also, Angus Scott, 30 touches. He took 8 marks as well. Angus Schumacher, again, superb. 26 disposals, Paul. 6 of those were inside 50 entries as well. For the victors, that man was huge today. And not only in stature, but in his performance, was Dylan O'Reilly. He ended up with 12 touches, 9 marks, and kicked 3 majors. If you have a look at John O'Marsh's stat line, 20 disposals, the majority of those coming in the second half. He laid 6 tackles. He had 9 inside 50s and was just absolutely superb. Of those 20 disposals, 15 of those by foot, and he kicks probably 60 metres off the step as well. But so many great contributors. Bokhurst, 26 touches, 8 marks, also 4 inside 50s. And I thought Tom Bennett was really good today as well. He had 22 disposals, Paul, 7 of those inside 50s.
The effort was fantastic from Bennett today, especially in the second half when the game was in the balance. But one of those players, you know, we were talking about Marsh. Another player that deserves a big mention is also Dylan O'Reilly. 3 goals today, including 9 spectacular marks. That's definitely one of his best games in a career that has been played by injury and bad luck.
So let's have a look at the goal kickers. Firstly, for East Fremantle, Dixon kicking 3, as did Dylan O'Reilly. And then individual goal kickers, Nick Comer, what a time. He didn't have many touches this afternoon, but what a time to kick one late in the game to re-give the Sharks the lead. So he ended up with 1. Snadden, Bokhurst, Marsh, Jansen, English, and Teakle, who did an admirable job up against Jones in the ruck this afternoon. And East Perth led by Matthew Young, 5 goals. Simpson was good as well. He had 3. Magro, Robertson, Maguire, and Nick Merritt, individual goal kickers there for East Perth. As we just round out our coverage with some CD Dot highlights, and a chance for us to draw breath. That was an exciting fourth term.
It certainly was. It had absolutely everything. The second half as a whole, and again, like I said, the complete change in momentum. East Fremantle, they had something going after half time. They had only a slender margin to play with, a deficit to play with, that is, and then they kicked 7 goals, a mirror image of that, and then 3 goals in the final quarter, despite East Perth kicking 6. A great second half that had everything. And that's not the only close result, Matty, because we can confirm Pure Thunder have come from behind to beat West Coast by, believe it or not, just 2 points as well. So 10-16 to 11-8. Randall got 2, Thorn got 2. But what a game that was over there at David Gray's Arena and here at Leederville Oval today. A day of thrillers.
And I'll tell you what, there's every chance that the West Perth South Fremantle game could be decided by 2 points or less as well. But that is just superb, and credit to those 4 teams. Obviously not going to be playing in the finals, but still laying it all on the line. So Masando, he had a good game there. I know he just dropped a game. Maguire kicked a nice opening goal and then faded out of the game. But you couldn't split these teams for inside 50s, Paul. 47 inside 50s apiece. And the hit-outs today, let's have a look at that number. Scott Jones was superb. 41 hit-outs and 12 disposals. But
he won the battle today.
Yeah, but also Stranatic had 10, but then went down injured. Enter Bryn Teakle. So probably hasn't done that much rucking at this level, but he ended up with a goal today and also 11 hit-outs late in that game. He was brilliant as well.
And it was only his 8th league game, and he was a late call-up for Cameron Erdley, but I reckon he's going to be in that league side for the long term. I think Billy Monahan will have a look at his performance and praise his efforts in that final quarter, including that decisive clearance that got the Sharks over the line. He is a long-term player for East Fremantle's future.
We did say this early in the game when East Perth got off to that start in the first term. They kicked 2 goals 4 to 1-1, so they had a 9-point margin at quarter time, 6 scoring shots to 2. And we kind of said, not saying that we predicted what was going to happen, but we said we really hope that won't come back to bite them late in the game, because they had some relatively easy shots at goal in that term. And unfortunately it has, because they've had 3 more scoring shots, but they go down by 2 points. Well, congratulations to the Sharks. John O'Marsh probably best on ground. Dylan O'Reilly up there as well. Round 20 for the Optus WAFL season in 2021 rounds out tomorrow, Sunday the 22nd of August, 1:10 p.m. That will be West Perth taking on South Fremantle. Now, you could say that could be game of the round, but we've had both games so far on the Saturday decided by 2 points. That game at Provident Financial Oval. Let's have a look at round 21, which will be the penultimate round of the home and away season, Paul, and it'll be East Perth taking on Subiaco. So
That's a massive game.
The co-tenants here at Leederville Oval, you suggest a big game, a big crowd as well, always passionate, almost derbies, those games there, you can almost say now, the co-tenants. Peel Thunder taking on Perth, that could be the battle of the spoon. Mind you, I think Peel has avoided that fate. That's down at down at David Gray's Arena. East Fremantle will look to make it 3 on the trot against West Perth at New Choice Homes Park.
That game's made it a lot more interesting with East Fremantle's win today. And if West Perth get beaten, now they face the pressure of trying to maintain a spot in 4th.
Now, South Fremantle, after taking on West Perth, have to back it up at home against Swan District. So that's a good hit out for them leading into the finals. And then Claremont will take on the West Coast Eagles reserves team. That game is at Revo Fitness Stadium. Well, Paul, it's been 10 weeks since we called.
10 long
together.
weeks, and it was another thriller.
Yeah, it was. Thanks for your input and a superb call from you, I must say, this afternoon. Well done.
Likewise, no magic loss, mate, after a few weeks away from the box, mate, but very well done, mate.
All right, thanks to the team in our truck, Matt Williamson and the crew, and our wonderful cameraman. They are the best in the business. I can tell you that for a fact right now. It was the Sharks by the barest of margins. 2 points. Final score here at Leederville Oval for round 20 of the 2021 OPTUS WAFL season. The Sharks 13-8-86 defeating the East Perth Royals 12-12-84 on behalf of Paul Persick and all the team at Front Row Screens. This is Matt Chechen signing off. I look forward to your company next weekend. Enjoy.